What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fantasy Endgame. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We had quite a few new viewers lately. We're glad to have you. We're here to help you win. That's it. That's our end game. And it's week 7, so you should have a good idea of where you're at in the standings. Hopefully you are 500 or better. But look, even if you aren't, it's okay. Don't give up. And I mean that. You're not out of it. Guaranteed. We've had teams that are below 500, even bottom of the standings. We've seen them come back to not just make the playoffs, but win championships. So it is way too early to say, I'm done. My season's over. So get to some of the news and we'll see what's going on here as far as NFL. You know, there are injuries, and we talked about the injuries yesterday, but we got some interesting news today, and that's we might get a superstar. I don't know if I consider him a superstar, a star player, very high-end fantasy player back earlier than expected, and that's Kyler Murray. Although, I don't know, did you expect him to be talking about him, ahead of like week 7, 8?
Yeah, I was going to say earlier than expected, but not for a lot of people. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not look, again, I get a lot wrong. I'm not going to sit here, but I'm pretty sure we were the only channel and I was the only person saying draft Marquise Brown. He's one of the best values in fantasy because Kyler Murray is going to be back earlier than they expected. Now, I thought we might see him within like the first, month or so, but there were a lot of people out there saying just avoid Hollywood, right? Because Kyler Murray's not playing this year. So, I mean, we're not going to see him this week, obviously, but he's back at practice. I bet we see him next week. I guess it's probably a little bit later than I expected, to be honest. Originally, I really did think we could see him within the first month. But yeah, happy to have him back. And man, if you, this is going to be your last chance to trade for Hollywood Brown because he's already been good, right? Like he definitely was better than I expected with Josh Dobbs, but now with Kyler back, you got to feel good about Hollywood. As far as Kyler, though, I mean, I still have some doubts with Kyler, the fantasy quarterback, not as a passer. I think as a passer, he'll be great, which is why I love Hollywood, which is why I was so high on Hollywood this offseason, which was why I was saying don't avoid him, draft him, because when Kyler comes back, Kyler is still going to be able to throw a football. His mobility, his running, that's what might take a hit, which is a big part of his fantasy value. So, but look at the QB. I mean, just look at the landscape of fantasy football right now. But even look at the QB landscape. We already lost Anthony Richardson. We may be losing Justin Fields. We've had a lot of like high-end quarterbacks. Like Mahomes hasn't been elite. Jalen Hurts has just been like the quarterback feels very bad this year. I mean, look, if you're on the waiver wire looking at guys like Baker Mayfield, I'd just roll with, I mean, not this week, obviously, but long term, I would just roll with a guy like Kyler Murray.
I mean, it's true. There's been some guys of obviously injuries that happen, but yeah, like you said, there's just not a lot. There seems like there's just a bigger drop off than ever between the starting, tier of quarterbacks, the first 10 to 12, and then all of a sudden it just drops off quickly between a bunch of guys you really don't want to be starting. I think that generally speaking, I'm not in on Kyler, and I'm glad you mentioned Hollywood Brown. Like, yes, this clearly would help him, and I like Michael Wilson already, and I think this helps him for sure. But this is probably one of the players, people say like we agree on everything. Like, oh, we we always say the same thing, which is not exactly true. I mean, we obviously think very similarly. And I think one of the best things about what we do is that we help kind of shape each other's decisions in a good way, right? When you bounce ideas off a smart person, it helps make you smarter and vice versa. So, but I think Kyler Murray might be the player we're probably most divided on because you're still in on him, and I'm one of the people saying like I really don't want him this year because the main part of his game for fantasy that you care about is the fact he can run. Right? He can run if he was just a pocket passer. Like, okay, he's good, but not great for fantasy. I mean, if he never ran again, if I told you right now, there's a new rule. Kyler Murray is not allowed to go past the line of scrimmage. He can only pass it. Then he's basically like a shorter Matt Stafford. I'd rather have Matt Stafford because I feel like he'll turn the ball over less and he's got better receivers. You know what I mean? So coming off of this ACL, I don't know how good I feel about him running effectively. That they'll let him run a lot. And then one thing also, I think you have to consider, because what are we looking for with Kyler Murray? It's not here and now. It's late season playoff run.
Right.
They have a late bye. It's week 14. They're one of the last. That means week 14, right before the playoffs, your fancy playoffs. Maybe your league even starts the fancy playoffs week 14. He's not playing. And then next week he gets the 49ers in week 15. And then it's the Bears, but it's in Soldier Field in December, the day before Christmas. And then it's the Eagles in a road game. So it's really a terrible end of season schedule for Kyler Murray. So I just feel like with all the risk with the injury and with maybe not being as good of a runner and all that together, I'm like, I don't want Kyler Murray as my starting quarterback, the rest of the season. So I think it's a good time to buy on Hollywood and maybe the Arizona offense in general. But yeah, I can't have Kyler as my quarterback, leading me to the championship.
I'll throw a question at you that I know will be tough. Rest of the season, Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson?
Well,
see, I knew it.
That's tough because now I'm Deshaun Watson. I'm like, well, is he even playing this week, by the way? Now it's the same old thing.
What is he? Yeah, like I know, right? It went from like, yeah, we feel good he's going to play. And then he, at this press conference, is like, I'm not going to play till, like, I like how he says, like, I'm not going to go, like, I don't know the exact quote, but something to the effect of, like, I'm not going to go out there and play if I feel like it's going to be a detriment to the team. And I'm like, have you seen PJ Walker play quarterback? Like, you think like a healthy PJ Walker is less of a detriment to the team than whatever you've got right now? Like, I have a hard time believing that. Like, you know what I mean?
They did win with PJ Walker. I'm just saying no, but
well, I mean, when you have a defense like that, I mean,
yeah, it's the defense.
Not giving PJ Walker the credit. Not only that, their touchdown was like you said, a trick play where PJ Walker wasn't even on the field. So like he wasn't even on the field when they scored that touchdown, right? It was a direct snap to the tight end, and he pitched it to Kareem Hunt. Like I'm not giving PJ Walker the credit for that win, but I just thought that was funny because I'm like, okay, like I get what you're saying, right? You're saying like he's saying like, oh, I don't have the velocity in my throw or whatever, but like it's PJ Walker. Like the other option is PJ Walker. Okay, whatever.
What worries me with that is just, again, maybe reading too much into it, but getting the feeling like Watson like doesn't really have that fire, like to want to go out there and prove that he deserves his contract to win, to be out there. I don't know. I just don't know if his head's in it. Like he's afraid of looking bad. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want to go out there and risk not having a good game. It's like, I don't know. I'm legit concerned about Watson. So you asked me that? Okay. Well, yeah, maybe I would go Kyler Murray. But yeah, I don't know. Just so much risk. Just give me a guy who I know is going to be good and not get hurt. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so.
This year it seems to be yes. This year it seems like it's too much to ask. Every nice thing we get gets taken away from us this year.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Justin Fields, 2 good games, and then he's gone. Anthony Richardson, breakout game, and then he's gone.
I mean, you grabbed Kyron off of waivers, he's gone. You grabbed Achane off waivers, he's gone.
Yeah, that's true. It's brutal. Fantasy football can be painful, but it also has its highs. I'm not dwelling on the negative. It can be fun too.
Yes.
I promise. It's especially fun if you win. So we're going to help you win because, again, there's always a way to pivot. There's always someone you can pick up. There's always a trade you can make. And this is why we do this, try to help you get ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Make those decisions that will keep you a step ahead of your league mates. So we're going to get to your questions. We got some super chats already lined up. Reminder, or for those who are new, what we do is we'll get to as many comments as possible. But first, Underdog, friend of ours. We are now partnered with them, and we're proud to be because it's a great site. If you haven't tried it, you probably have heard of them, but it's definitely worth it. Use promo code ENDGAME because then you get a 100% deposit match up to $500 for a limited time. Not sure how much longer that will last, but again, it's up to $500. They will match every dollar you put in. It used to be 100, now it's 500. And speaking of the Cardinals, Marquise Brown is this week's highlighted player for 100K Sundays. And that means that they will give away $100,000 because 1,000 different people will win $100. And next week, it'll probably flip back to the opposite, where 10 people will win $10,000. But either way, a chance to win money. All you do is use that Marquise Brown pick, higher, lower, and you're entered to win. So anybody can use that. But if you're new and you just signed up for the first time, then you can also use the Derek Carr pick 'em. Just needs 1 yard. So go higher with Derek Carr and combine it with any other pick, and you can triple your money. So that's available if you're new signing up to Underdog. Just make sure you use promo code Endgame, and you can take advantage of all of those things. But on to the super chats now. If you are new, also, by the way, just we'll get to as many comments as possible. The super chat feature, it doesn't mean that we only answer super chats, but that's basically like your fast pass. If you do put a super chat, then that's our way of knowing that we're definitely going to put your comment up and address it on the air. And Moises always takes advantage of that. Appreciate you. With a super sticker, he's first. Got this trade today. Interesting. We're trading away a guy we just plucked off of waivers. Zach Moss for Zach Evans. Which Zach is superior?
It's funny. We're trading away a guy we just got off of waivers for a guy that may end up on waivers here pretty soon.
Maybe on waivers, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess right now you got to feel a little bit better about Evans just because he's going to have first crack. We think he'll have first crack at the job here. Now, we don't know how long Kyron's going to be out for. The report today was they're hoping to have him back by week 11. Okay. But he's not gone on IR yet. Ronnie Rivers did. They're still deciding about Kyron, they said. But at least Zach Evans has the path now. I mean, Zach Moss, maybe as early as this week, is just going to become JT a handcuff, right? Like that's what we think. At least we don't think JT is going to be in a timeshare with Zach Moss rest of the season. That would be the most expensive timeshare any NFL team has ever had. So I don't know. I think right now I prefer Zach Evans.
Yeah, with Evans, basically, you're either getting a guy who might just be back on the waiver wire next week because he did nothing,
right,
or he just wasn't the guy, right?
Right.
Or maybe you have a guy who could be a plug and play RB2, or maybe he breaks out. Maybe he's this year's Kyron Williams. I mean, whatever. I'm not expecting that, but I think it's worth a shot to find out, which is why we're saying Evans should be your number one pick now. I don't mind getting Moss if look, I'm really never going to use him because I have Bijan. Although, I mean, honestly, you could Bijan, then you got Ford, Madison, Cook. You don't have legit stud RB2, RB3 types. So if Evans starts putting up 100 yards and a touchdown, 2 weeks in a row, he's cracking your lineup.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's fine if you just want depth. It's not like it's a bad trade to trade away a guy who, again, could just be on the waiver wire next week. So, and then on waivers, he says Dobbs, Dillon. Would you pick up Dobbs or Dillon?
Let's see. You got Ford, Bijan. We're still not sure about Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Just simply because the running backs you have behind Bijan, I don't feel great about him this week. I might pick up Dillon because if Aaron Jones is out again, I mean, A.J. Dillon against the Broncos, I know it's A.J. Dillon, but that's pretty close to a must-start RB2 as you can get, right? A.J. Dillon against the Broncos. So,
yeah, I mean, if Jones doesn't play, I mean, I'd probably put, A.J. Dillon over Ford?
Oh, yeah, I would put A.J. Sadly, I'd put A.J. Dillon over all those guys except for Bijan, obviously. It's just because it's the Broncos. I mean, but he had 70 yards and a touchdown the last game against the Raiders. That was another terrible defense. This is even worse.
Right. I think Ford's playable because it's not a bad matchup for him. But, yeah, you might want to go Dillon. So pick him up. I guess Reynolds is droppable because now he's hurt. Go figure. And Gibbs is going to be back, so you might as
I
well go
wouldn't
Dylan
drop
over
Reynolds
Reynolds.
yet. It's only Wednesday. It's only Wednesday.
Well, yeah, I assume that's Craig Reynolds. He's questionable, but again, is Craig Reynolds cracking your lineup over all of those guys? Probably not.
Well, no, that's true. He's not cracking over those guys now.
Michael is in the house, Seahawks fan. Can you rank these three this week? DJ Moore with the rookie, Ridley or Lobby?
I'm gonna go Olave, Ridley, DJ Moore. I like Olave again this week. I'm not really feeling a big Ridley game, to be honest. I think it's going to be a bigger Christian Kirk game, but I mean, let me see that DJ Moore can survive with Bajan before I put him in my lineup if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, look, if DJ Moore goes out there and if Bajan targets him like 10 times and he catches 6 or 7 passes, okay, we can feel good about DJ Moore again going forward. We can be like, okay, we're okay. But there's always a risk that he targets him 10 times and he only catches 2 passes or 3 passes. So
Or
I
no
got to
pass.
put DJ Moore last.
Yeah, I can't put DJ Moore higher than 3 out of these 3 guys this week. You just can't. I think Olave's got to be one. He's got the best matchup probably. To me, I'm going Olave, Ridley, DJ Moore. Big Luscious just finished watching the start sit, which, by the way, if y'all haven't seen it yet, quarterback and tight end dropped today. The others are already out. So he's got Josh Allen and Sam Laporta. That's a nice luxury. I'm fine starting Laporta, but would you consider streaming someone like Stafford over Allen? Why? Why would you do this?
I'm gonna go politician on you and answer your question with a question. Why? Like, it's not even a bad matchup. It's like a fantastic matchup for him.
This is not the Patriots defense of last year or the 2 years ago. This
Or even
Patriots
early in
defense
the
is
season.
bad.
Remember early in the season, they were great. They were healthy. Remember they shut down the Dolphins and Tua? They were great. But that was like week 2. They're decimated now. They're decimated on all levels. Not just like everywhere. They're just decimated. They're just, no. Hard pass on Matthew Stafford over Josh Allen. Hard pass.
Yeah, definitely. And then also Kevin is here. What's up, Kevin? Does not trust Kittle at all. Him or Osborne?
But how much trust do we have in KJ Osborne? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like look, I rarely want to flex a tight end that isn't named Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. But I don't know if Osborne is my choice here. Like,
No,
I mean, I will say if there is a knock on Kittle, it does sound like Debo is playing. So now we're going to have Debo, Ayuk. I mean, yeah, CMC won't be there, but I don't think that's enough to give Kittle a huge bump. But look, Kittle can always go off for at any game. Kittle can have some 3 touchdown out of nowhere game like we saw a couple weeks ago, and you're going to really hate having him on your bench. What is Osborne's like upside really?
Yeah, you hope for a touchdown.
Yeah, I'd probably still go with Kittle here.
I'm going Kittle. I mean, I get it. If you don't trust him, that's fine. But again, do you really trust Osborne? I'd rather have the guy going against the Vikings defense than against the 49ers defense. True. So, yeah. Dan Fuller is back. Full PPR, need a flex and wide receiver 2 with a lot of buys. Got Downs, Wandale, Jaleel McLaughlin, or Reynolds as the flex options. Need a wide receiver 2. One of these guys is the wide receiver 2 and a flex.
I think I'm going Wandale at wide receiver 2 this week, only because it's the Commanders, right?
Yep, that's what I would do.
Only because it's the Commanders. They're giving up so much to wide receivers. I guess go Wandale.
And then flex.
I mean, I feel like the Broncos have a pretty good running game matchup this week, don't they?
They play the Packers.
Yeah, Packers aren't very good against the run. Jaleel basically is getting like 50-50 with Javonte now. I might just gamble on Jaleel. He'll catch some passes. He could score. I'm going to go Wandale and Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Wandale, I actually don't hate him. Look, I'm not going and saying everyone go out and pick him up, but one
No.
thing that was, although I will say it was without Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones does come back, he's just going to wreck everything. But we did see at least some separation. We are starting to see some separation between the receivers. Remember early in the year, it was like the
Yeah.
Giants have 10 receivers who all do the exact same thing, and we don't know
Yes.
who's going to play. Well, now Paris Campbell, shockingly, is not asserting himself as a starter in the offense. He's basically phased out, right? He's a non-factor. He's not there. He hardly saw the field. And so Wandale, now that he's come back, he's gradually taken over. He's got the job. So Wandale Robinson, slot guy, Pierce Campbell doesn't exist.
Right.
Darius Slayton has consistently led this receiving core in snaps and routes run. So he's technically the number one guy, but also Isaiah Hodgins, he's being phased out. So he's almost a non-factor. Not complete, but barely seeing the field last week. And then Hyatt is kind of like that once in a while if they're using 11 personnel and he's the deep threat. So I will say that I kind of don't hate Wandale Robinson or Darius Slayton as streamers this week because they're playing Washington. So Wandale, I can't play downs against Cleveland. McLaughlin's been pretty efficient. So I'll go McLaughlin. And then Jason Quinones. Hollywood, McLaurin, Rashee Rice, Amari Cooper, or Zach Moss. Only one.
Gotta be Cooper for me. Be. Even if it's PJ Walker, I don't care. I'm playing Cooper. The Colts get destroyed by wide receiver ones. Except for last week. But remember, Ridley destroyed him in week 1, so gonna give him a pass. That was a weird game last week for the Colts. It was like Travis Etienne scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and of course, the Colts with Gardner Minshew couldn't put up any fight. So they were, you know what I mean? It was just a weird game. Like they barely had to throw the ball or really do anything on offense. So because Gardner Minshew was so bad, I expect a bid. Look, he was pretty good last week, even with PJ Walker in a really tough matchup against San Francisco. Now against the Colts, I'm going Cooper. Even if whether it's Walker or Watson, I don't care. I'm going Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, even with Walker, he went over 100 yards. We were down on him last week, and now it looks like it might be Walker again. But yeah, it's Cooper. Too good a matchup.
Yeah.
And then which defense between the Giants, Commanders going against each other, or just go Raiders?
I think you got to go Commanders against the Giants. I mean, there's no fear here. Like, what is the fear for the Commanders? Like that the Giants score 1 touchdown. That's like the fear. I mean, they probably wanted to score a touchdown. They haven't scored a touchdown since like September. Yeah. I'm not even joking. It's like dead serious. They've now scored an offensive touchdown, I think, since September. If I had that stat right. So, I mean, Commanders have a super high floor and a pretty decent ceiling in this one. I think I go Commanders.
Do we have any news on Daniel Jones specifically? I mean, I know it's still midweek, so we don't really.
He didn't practice today, but does it really matter? I mean, look, Tyrod Taylor, maybe. I don't even know. I mean, I don't think it really matters. Like, I think the big benefit last week was that they actually had Saquon Barkley, and the team, like the Bills, had to actually kind of respect the run, whereas teams prior were just like, let's just go kill Daniel Jones because they can't pass protect and they can't run the ball. But I'm still not worried about it. I mean, again, like, how many points? Like, the Giants getting 10 points would be like, wow, they really went off this week. You know what I mean?
Sad but true. Once again. Yeah, I mean, Raiders seem to have the best matchup, of course, going against the rookie quarterback. But yeah, I think Commanders will be just fine. Like you said, I would just go with them. You would think the Bears wouldn't have Bagent go out and throw it 50 times, but yeah, I would go Commanders too. All right, brace yourself. I don't know if you're ready for this. You probably are because we talked about it yesterday. JSC, could Julio Jones be fantasy relevant with the Eagles?
Okay, my favorite of all the news, all the quotes today, my favorite was Julio Jones. saying, "I came here to dominate." Let me get this quote right. I don't want to misquote Sir Julio Jones here. Let me see if I can find it. "Don't get it twisted. I'm here to dominate." And then watch and find out. And then he said something about like, "We'll revisit this at the end of the year." And I'm like, those are words you probably didn't want to say, because you really probably don't want us revisiting this at the end of the year when you don't dominate. Now, Julio Jones, look, when Julio Jones signed with the Titans, what was that? 3 years ago? How many years ago was that? 2 years ago?
Probably 2 years ago. Last year he was with Tampa.
Okay. When he
2
signed
years
with the
ago, I
Titans,
think.
right? When he signed with the Titans, or they traded him to the Titans, the Falcons traded him, whatever. I said Julio is dust. And I took a lot of flack for that. I always take flack when I say a player's dust. It's fine, whatever. But he was pretty dusty. And then when he signed with Tampa Bay, people were like, "Well, it's Tom Brady." I said, "Yeah, but he's dust." Yeah. Not only is he dust, he's got to contend with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and DeAndre Swift now. And who actually is getting targets. Like, he's probably going to be 5th in targets on this team. Yeah, there's no way he's fantasy relevant.
No. I will say I saw that Devonta Smith popped up on the injury report with a hamstring, which is concerning because that means maybe he does miss. But come on. And Julio Jones just signed yesterday? You think he's just going to come in and dominate in week 1? I wouldn't. Don't save your fab.
Yes.
What's up, Steven? So picking 3, Addison, Pickens, Deontay, Rice, or Wandale? Got 2
so Deontay's another one we didn't talk about, but it sounds like he's going to be good to go. He practiced in full today. He's talking like, "Hey, I'm ready." So I feel pretty good like Deontay will play. I do like Rice. I mean, look, I like Wandale as I don't have a better option flex, but what is his upside really? Like, I think he has a very high floor this week. Like, I think Wandale is a guy in a PPR league you could feel good about, will get you points. But again, what are we really thinking this Giants offense is going to do? Like, is he going to go for 100 yards? Probably not. Is he going to score a touchdown? Probably not. I don't know. I think I go Addison, Rice. And then for me, it comes down to, does Deontay play or not? If Deontay doesn't play, I'll go Pickens. But I think if Deontay plays, I'm actually going Deontay.
I'm probably going to just go Pickens either way because, I like Pickens. But yeah, I still think he has more upside than Deontay on a weekly basis, just period. I think that I still don't know that Deontay's just going to come in and get 10 targets necessarily. I like Rice this week. Definitely like Rice. And I think Addison. Wandale's fine. Like, I don't mind Wandale. Among these guys, I think he is kind of close, but I wouldn't pick him. I mean, again, we're shooting for ceiling. So let's say Addison, Rice, and Pickens. And then pick one: Madison, White, Warren, or McLaughlin.
Oh, man. You got 2 workhorses in bad matchups. You got a change of pace guy. And then you got like a split backfield guy in a good matchup. Man.
Tampa Bay. I'm trying to think. White gets
the Falcons, who have actually been pretty good against the run. I mean, they're not awful, but they've been pretty good against the run.
Yeah, it's not a smash spot. I think I'd feel better about him than Madison going against the Niners, who...
Yeah, no, I like him better than Madison. I'm just wondering if I like McLaughlin better.
Yeah, I like Warren. Still doesn't do it for me.
Because it is a good matchup against the Packers. They have not been good against the run, and we know McLaughlin is a guy who has that big play upside. White's the safer pick because he'll get the ball. I mean, that's White and safe is not 2 words that should really go together. But White will at least get the volume. Man.
Hmm.
I might just go with McLaughlin, honestly. Just shoot for the upside. Like, I mean, even if McLaughlin doesn't have a big game or score, is White going to significantly outscore McLaughlin this week? Probably not.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's the same struggle. White or McLaughlin. Let's go for McLaughlin. All right, we got Sir Boomer in the house. That's how you know it's a show. Good evening. And then another member, Jacob. I think this is a good evening for him. He traded Brian Robinson and Madison to get Justin Jefferson. I think you'll be happy with
Nice.
that.
Very nice.
I think you'll definitely be happy with that. It's interesting now. Michael Downey, Dynasty Superflex, Malik Cunningham, who was used at quarterback for the Patriots on a few plays. Is this a wrinkle that they're throwing in just because they're completely desperate and trying to make it look like Mac Jones isn't the only quarterback there? Or do you think this is something that like he might become a thing, like the new Taysom Hill?
I think it's just a wrinkle. I think they're just trying to figure out something they can do with this offense to get anything going. Yeah, I mean, look, if you got deep benches and you have a bench spot, then yeah, sure, stash him. But he doesn't feel like a guy like I have to add in Dynasty. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Malik Cunningham this year.
Is there anybody who feels less like a Bill Belichick quarterback than Malik
Right.
Cunningham? Yeah, the words dual threat do not define the Bill Belichick era there. No, I think this is just something they're trying, just anything to get
Yep.
offense going. It
Yep.
didn't really work. I mean, it's not like Malik Cunningham went out and had some big splash plays or anything. So, look, I get it. I don't mind in a super flex league. You take a shot on a guy like this, but
Yep.
I'm not counting on anything. What about Big Wolf? Traded Bark, Dak, and Jacobs for Mahomes, Bijan, and Montgomery. Let's see if we can process this.
I don't know.
Went from Dak to Mahomes. I mean, that's clearly a win. Went from Barkley to Bijan. I think that's fine. And then Jacobs to Monty. So now he's got Mahomes. He already had Eckler. Bijan, Eckler, Diggs, Hollywood, Kelsey, Christian Watson, Nico Collins. That's a good lineup.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if I look at your team now and think like, wow, this team is so much better. Like, you went from Bijan, Eckler. You went from Bijan, Eckler, Barkley, Jacobs. And then you still had Diggs, Hollywood, Kelsey, Watson, Nico Collins. Like, that didn't change. To Bijan, Eckler, Montgomery, who's hurt for a while.
Yeah, that's the downside. Obviously, you're without Monty for a couple of weeks, but it looks like you really don't need to start him anyways. He's like your third running back. I kind of like this because you basically swapped, maybe your third running back is a little less efficient to upgrade a quarterback. That's kind of the way I see it. I mean, it's not a huge change in the lineup, really. It's not like a huge win, but I think it helps a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
See, talking about the Chiefs, I guess we forgot about this in the news segment. The hard man is back to the Chiefs. Are we picking up Nicole Hardman?
Am I going to do this again? I had to do this like every week last year. It was like we'd go real quick. Like we get it when we do our start sit wide receiver. Like every video, it's like Marquez Valdez-Scantling, hard pass. McCole Hardman, hard pass. Sky Moore, hard pass. And then we would just move on. Like every single video. Am I gonna have to do the McCole Hardman hard pass again?
Maybe have y'all noticed that this year we don't talk about that like half the Chiefs receiving core anymore? It's like it's not worth it. So no.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be on special teams. He'll have some gadget plays. Yeah, I mean,
how about this? We picking up Darrell Henderson.
I'm going Zach Evans first. Darrell Henderson would be second for me.
Yeah.
But I think Zach Evans gets first crack. So I'm going Zach Evans first.
And I'll just say I was never a big Darrell Henderson fan anyways. I think he was there and he was a guy. And obviously they didn't want him to be the guy because Cam Akers took over for him. He wasn't on the team last year. He's a depth. He knows the system. We can put him in if we need to because we don't have to teach somebody all over again. That's what it is. It's the familiarity. Zach Evans is definitely going to be a priority. A Strick got offered Mike Evans, Wilson, going to assume Garrett Wilson, and Downs for Puka and Michael Thomas. Would you take that?
Again, I don't think so. I just think, like, look, Wilson and Downs for Michael Thomas, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
But I think Puka will still be better than Mike Evans rest of the season. And I just feel like it's too big of a downgrade from Puka to Mike Evans. Like, I feel like you're giving up, Wilson and Downs, they're just depth, right? They're not guys you're ever really going to count on week to week. It's like, yeah, you're in a pinch, you can throw one of these guys in there, but that's it. I just think the downgrade from Puka to Mike Evans is too big for me. I'm keeping Puka and MT.
Yeah, I'm still interested in Puka. In fact, I like him a lot this week. Somebody earlier, I think it was, remember we had the should I bench Josh Allen for Matt Stafford thing, but like no. But look, the follow up was something about Stafford. I think that they're going to pass more, because Kyron's out, and I agree. I like Stafford a lot this week, but that's also why I like Puka a lot this week because I agree. But I'd rather have Puka than Mike Evans long term. Yeah, I mean. Unless you have to start Garrett Wilson, like, are you starting Michael Thomas every week? If so, okay, maybe I do this deal, but you shouldn't have to be.
I will say, I assumed that was Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Oh, I assumed it was Garrett Wilson.
Well, only because the other three players in this trade are down. I mean, the other two players are Downs and Michael Thomas, and I feel like that's the Michael Wilson range. Like, I feel like Garrett Wilson is still a tier above those guys. At least
if it's Michael Wilson, then it's a hard pass.
Yeah, that's just what I assumed. I assumed it was Michael Wilson.
Well, A-Strick, let us know.
If it's Garrett Wilson, I might. Not that I'm high on Garrett Wilson, but I think he's at least a tier above Michael Thomas.
Right.
Like, I'd feel better starting Garrett Wilson every week than Michael Thomas. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I assumed it was Michael Wilson, which is a reminder, guys. If there's a lot of Wilsons, there's a lot of who else's Zays. There's a lot of Zays, which is weird because I didn't know a single Zay in my life until like the last 5 years with football. Yeah. So if you have names like that, try to put at least the initial so we know, like G Wilson or M Wilson or something like that.
Right. All right. So A-Strick, if you're still on the chat right now, you can just let us know which Wilson it is in case it matters. But right now, let's just say hold Puka. Thompson's finest. All right. 8-man full PPR, Moss and Dell for Higgins.
If you can get Higgins for Moss and Dell, this is a huge win. Huge win.
Why? Okay, if it's an 8-man league, why are Moss and Dell even rostered? Honestly,
right? And who's trading for Moss and Dell in an 8-team league? Like, who's like, oh yeah, I really need those guys.
Trading 4 to them. Like, Dell's not even rostered in a lot of 12-man leagues.
Nah, I dropped him like 2 weeks ago in my 10-team league, and he's still just sitting there.
I hope you're the side getting Higgins. If you're getting Higgins, this is a fleece.
Yeah, if you're giving up Higgins, do not do this, please.
No. All right, Alexander's channel. Welcome back. Devontae Adams was not on the buy low. We did not know people would be considering him a buy low, but apparently he is because, a bad game equals a buy low. What pieces would you offer to get him? Thielen, sure.
Yeah, Thielen. Thielen's got to be my favorite sell high. Look, maybe somehow Adam Thielen at 34 years old finishes as a top 10 wide receiver. I mean, has any wide receiver age 34 or older finished top 10 outside of maybe Jerry Rice? Maybe it's happened, but we got to be talking about like the best wide receivers of all time. So if I could trade Thielen straight up for Adams, I would. But even if I could trade Thielen and like an RB2 for Adams, I would do it.
Yeah. And they said, grade the trade I sent Jacobs and Ridley for Ayuk and Walker.
I think this is pretty fair. I think it's pretty fair. I think you may like Jacobs is due, man. Jacobs is really due. He's really due. But Walker's been great and he's getting all the work there, so you can feel pretty good about Walker. It's not like a big difference to me, but I definitely like Ayuk a little more than Ridley, so I think it's very fair. I think it'll work out for you.
Pretty even. I'd say I like Ayuk Walker a little better. Just I like those players a little bit better. I thought by this point Ridley would be outscoring Ayuk. It's not happening. So there you go. I think that's good. And then he sent Madison to get Aaron Jones. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, assuming
if he plays.
Even if he doesn't play this week, he's got to play at some point, right? I mean, he has a season-ending hamstring injury? I mean, you never know. Look,
you would think
he's at that age where it could be like, just we never see Aaron Jones again. But I think we'll see Aaron Jones again, so I think it'll work out for you.
Yeah, even so, like, am I ever going to regret trading Alexander Madison for anything? Like, no, he's just like, I don't even know. I guess low end running back 2, more like just high end number 3 running back. He's just kind of Joe Mixon-esque.
Yeah.
Sir Boomer, somebody dropped Higgins.
Oh, wow.
Why not? Bye weeks. Should I drop Wilson or Ingram to pick him up?
I mean, either, but obviously Ingram would be my first choice. Like you can't feel good about Ingram. And look, Connor, how many weeks has Connor missed now? 2?
Yeah, I think 2.
Or was last week the first week?
No. Last week was the first full week without him.
Okay, but still, he could be coming back in like 3 weeks. Yeah, drop Ingram. And drop all your fab if you have to.
Always check. Jesus, welcome back. Traded Kittle and Lockett for London. Wait. Oh, thank God. He said he got Kittle and Lockett. I was like, oh, man. Okay. So he got Kittle and Lockett just for London?
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, I think Lockett and London are probably pretty close for me right now in terms of value. And then you just get Kittle for free. Yeah. Good trade.
Yep, definitely a win for you. You got Kittle for nothing. Luis Medina, JT, and Ford or Eckler straight up?
Got to be Eckler for me. Got to be Eckler still. Again, I'm not gonna panic when a guy has a bad game. Everybody has bad games. Like, there's gonna be a game here at some point where Tyreek Hill only gets like 50 yards, and are we gonna panic? I hope not. But yeah, still give me Eckler here.
Yeah, I agree. It's Eckler. Good quality over quantity here. Yeah. I almost thought we had really made a big time because we had Mr. Beast on our super chat. It's just Beast. Just Beast.
Oh, man.
But we still appreciate you being here.
Does Mr. Beast play Mr. Beast, if you play fantasy football and you're watching this, send me a message. Send me a DM on Twitter.
Yeah, hit us up. 4-2, 12-team keeper league. I got offered Hawkinson and Wandale for Kirk and Laporta.
Nah. Look, Hawkinson did see like a big target share bump in that game, and he may be better for however long Justin Jefferson is out, but we only put 4 tight ends as must starts, and one of them is Hawkinson and one of them is Laporta. So there's not a big difference between Hawkinson and Laporta. There's a massive gap between Christian Kirk and Wandale Robinson. I'm taking Kirk and Laporta.
Yeah, it's definitely Kirk and Laporta. Keeper league, I think you definitely would like to have Laporta, but even besides that like you said, Kirk over Wandale. Wandale's not going to be the next Christian Kirk, I don't think.
No.
Unless they are the team that winds up somehow getting, Caleb Williams or maybe Drake May or whoever at quarterback, but still, no. What about this? Big Luscious wants to know, is it worth stashing Myles Gaskin?
Well, here's the thing. I just saw like a little clip from Sean McVay talking about the running backs. He of course talked about Zach Evans, saying like, he's like what he's seen, likes his progression. Talked about Darrell Henderson, like, hey, He's a smart guy. I love Daryl Henderson. He knows the system. Even in walkthrough, he's seeing things already. And then he talked about Myles Gaskin and basically said, I don't really know anything about Myles Gaskin. That's like literally that's what he said. He's like, I don't know anything about Myles Gaskin.
Why would he?
Yeah, Myles Gaskin is going to have to earn his way in this backfield. Like Myles Gaskin is just going to have to be so good that Sean McVay is like, okay, I guess it's Myles Gaskin time because yeah, exactly. That's another good point from Sir Boomer. He got beat out soundly by Salvan Ahmed. Myles Gaskin, I have no interest in. No interest in.
He was cut by the Dolphins and then signed on with the Vikings and didn't make that. The Vikings, right? Who then traded for Cam Akers, who had been, well, not cut, but demanded to get out because he was beat out. And then, no. Okay. So, no. I mean, I get where you're going with this, but no. Charles, pick 2, James Cook, Jalen Warren, Rashawn Johnson, Deontay Foreman, Kareem Hunt.
Well, we didn't talk about Rashawn Johnson either, who somehow is still in the concussion protocol 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
that is concerning. That is certainly concerning for his availability this week. James Cook is the obvious one here. I will say if tomorrow or Friday Rashawn clears a concussion protocol and he's good to go, then it would be him second. But it's not looking good for him.
I mean, if he doesn't play at all, then Foreman's still the guy, pretty much the guy, right?
Yeah, he's still the guy, but I think it is the Bears. It is the Bears, so yeah.
He's a guy. Confirmed that he's a guy.
But it is the Bears, so it is a good matchup. So maybe Foreman. If Rashawn is out, maybe Foreman. But even still, he had 16 carries, but we also saw Darrington Evans quite a bit involved. And now it's Tyson Bagent, which means they may not move the ball. Maybe the defense loads up the box and says, let's make Bagent beat us. Man, the Rashawn thing, it's really... Well, I still might go Foreman, though. It's a good matchup. He should get the work. I'll go Cook and Foreman unless Rashawn plays. Then I'll go Cook and Rashawn.
Yeah, I still generally just want to chase volume at running back. And Foreman, if Rashawn doesn't play, would still get a lot. So that's what I would do. Corey Marklevitz, Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer's interesting, but they have a tough matchup this week, don't they? Chiefs.
Chiefs
secondary has been very, very good.
Yeah, although he did have a tough matchup with the Cowboys, and he came out pretty good, decent, not amazing, but decent.
Yeah, he did have a touchdown callback by penalty, so it could have been bigger. Yeah, I'd probably just roll with him.
Yeah, to some extent, maybe it comes down to how involved you think Deontay is this week, but also, I'm surprised to see, always check how these defenses doing. It's not the end all be all, but the Rams have been, I think, the second hardest defense against wide receivers in terms of fantasy points allowed, and which I'm not sure how, because they don't have, Jalen Ramsey anymore. They don't have any shutdown corners, but they're just limiting points to receivers. And it's not like we expect the Steelers offense to come out like guns blazing. So I would go Palmer. And then we have Ali. What is up? I appreciate you. Looking good too. I can't see you, but we know. Crazy to start Sharp versus Arizona, or go with a guy like Edwards, Wilson, Mitchell, or Gainwell.
I will say if CMC's out, Mitchell's probably the guy I feel the best about of this group. You can't feel good about Charbonnet. We thought coming out of the bye he'd be more involved. He was less involved coming out of the bye.
He did not get the post. Can guarantee there was no post bye bump. JSN got a little bit. Charbonnet did not.
Yeah, Charbonnet did not. Edwards, Wilson. Even if he is activated this week, which I think he will be, he's not gonna. He hasn't played football in how long? They're gonna ease him in.
No.
So I will say if CMC is out, Mitchell. What if CMC plays though? Then what do you do? You just roll with
Edwards,
Gus?
just go with Gus. Hope he gets a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot better chance of Gus getting 50+ yards or a touchdown, maybe and a touchdown than Charbonnet. So yeah, Mitchell if CMC's out for sure. If not, it would have to be Edwards. And then James Delara, full PPR, trade Kirk and Stevenson for the Sun God.
Yeah, definitely do this. Definitely do this. Great way to sell high on Stevenson right now. And even though I do like Kirk, I mean, I like Amon-Ra a lot more. Definitely do this.
Ooh, now you got to take the Sun God. That's
Yeah.
an easy one for me. This is an interesting one. Forever grinding. Would you give up Reek for Bijan and CD? Very,
my
very.
first reaction was you have to. That was like my first initial reaction. But Tyreek feels like one of the few untouchable guys right now.
I know. I mean, he is the number one player in fantasy, period. Oh, man.
But you're getting 2 studs back. It's not like you're getting 2 good players. You're getting 2 studs.
I mean, clearly Bijan slots in as your RB1. Does this matter? The roster, like you say, okay, well, right now I'm rolling out Javonte Williams every week as my RB2. Does that make it where like, okay, you kind of have to take Bijan?
I don't know. I mean, we could be looking at like potentially a record-breaking season for Tyreek Hill.
2,000, baby, 2K.
I mean, he's well over that pace right now. I mean, we know how these things work out. The season rolls on. Games get tougher. The weather gets worse, right? Like it's, but he looks like he's on that Cooper Kupp trajectory from 2 years ago.
Yeah, and you also have to consider in Miami, there's never bad weather.
But you also have to consider they play the Jets, the Bills, on the road,
games.
Yeah, in December. And you also have to consider this is real life, not Madden, and like, it's not easy. There's a reason why nobody's ever gotten 2,000 yards. I'm not saying he can't do it. Because I even said, I said all off season, I said, I think if somebody can do it, it's going to be Tyreek Hill. And I was even saying in our videos, I was like, Tyreek Hill falling to the middle of the first round is one of the biggest values I've ever seen in a first rounder in fantasy football. Like there's very rare you get a first round value. But I was saying, like Tyreek Hill at pick 7 is an insane value. Take him every time. That being said, I also understand that 2,000 yards is a huge number. And I also understand I've seen enough guys start crazy hot and then come back down to earth a bit. But again, like even if he goes for 1,900 yards.
Yeah. Maybe that threshold doesn't really make a difference. He's still winning you your league if you have him.
Exactly. That's why this trade is so hard, because it's like you could be trading away legit the guy who won everybody their champ. The answer at the end of the answer to the test could be, did you have Tyreek Hill or not? That could legit be the answer to the test at the end of the season. Did you have Tyreek Hill or not?
Which basically 2 years ago, it was like, oh, you had Cooper Kupp. Okay, congratulations, you won. I mean,
exactly. Or like Christian McCaffrey in like 2019 or whatever it was. It's like, did you have CMC or not? He could have one of those seasons. So as enticing as this offer is, as it's probably on paper an overpay, I just can't trade Tyreek Hill right now. I can't do it. Can't do it. The risk of missing out on the monster season is too much for me. I can't do it.
This is so tough because again, this is actually a really, like, if you're gonna give up Tyreek, this is what you should get back, and it's fair. It's actually a really tough decision. I would only say, look, if your running back situation is really bad, like I said, you're rolling out a guy at RB2 every week that shouldn't even be on a roster or something like that. Maybe this helps you enough that you could do it, but unless it's that situation, like if you're like, oh, well, my RB2 is James Cook, like that's fine. Like that's fine. I would say no. Don't give up Tyreek unless you just really need to do this trade. And then let's get back to super chats. We got George Gonzalez, Flex Ridley, Watson, and then an RB2, Warren or McLaughlin.
I'm going Watson this week over Ridley. I'm not feeling a big Ridley week. Marshawn Lattimore, the Saints. I really like Christian Kirk this week. I'm going Watson. Got a great matchup against the Broncos. And then I'll just gamble on McLaughlin. I'll gamble that McLaughlin finds the end zone, makes a play, does something like that. I mean, what is Warren really giving you right now? He's like a PPR floor play, and that's about it. So I'll go Watson and McLaughlin.
Yep, this one is actually pretty easy for me. I know it hasn't come out yet, but when you see our booms, tell you I got Watson as a boom. Think a big week in store, and then I'm never interested in Warren, so I'll go McLaughlin guy. I like Miles Zile. We got Myers trade Myers and Rashawn Dobbs for Higgins and Gibbs. Is it Rashawn? Is it all three of those guys? Or
I guess so.
to
I
get
think I
Higgins
do
and
this. I
Gibbs?
think I do this. You're getting a big
Yeah.
wide receiver upgrade from Higgins over Myers. Rashawn and Dobbs, I mean, they're fine. They're bench guys, but so is Gibbs right now. But they're kind of bench stash with potential upside. So give me Higgins and Gibbs.
Yeah, definitely take Higgins and Gibbs. And then also Dobbs, Rashawn, Jaleel, or Rasheed at the flex. Got to pick one of those guys.
Because I do kind of like Dobbs this week. But I think I like Rashee Rice more.
Yeah, let's get the Chargers.
Yeah, it's the Chargers. They're terrible against the pass. The guy's a big play potential every time the ball's in his hand. I'll go Rashee Rice.
Yeah, I like Dobbs and Rasheed. I'll go Rasheed. Nate Cage, thoughts on this trade? Are we this low in DJ Moore? Straight up for Pacheco.
This is tough because this is one of those, like, if this week, like, let's say Justin Fields is out for a long time or has surgery, or even if he doesn't, like, we're talking about like the thumb on his throwing hand, like how effective as a thrower is he going to be when he even comes back? Like, is he even going to be the same guy? Like, you know what I mean? So if DJ Moore goes out there this week and like has a horrible game, you're going to be like, oh, thank goodness I got Pacheco. But on the other hand, if Bayesian is that dude, or at least good enough to keep DJ Moore, very good in fantasy, you're going to really regret trading away DJ Moore. This is tough. Like last week, I would have said no chance.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big unknown. What's going to happen, Justin Fields? I still feel like I don't want to give up more just yet, and not just I don't want to trade him at all, but for me, for Pacheco's not going to inspire me enough, I guess, is what I'm saying. So I'm holding DJ Moore just for now.
Although it's probably the smart play.
I understand though, because look, if you got DJ Moore right now, I don't know if anybody's trading for him, I guess, but what if you hold on DJ Moore and then tomorrow, like, okay, yeah, Justin Fields out for the season. Then you're not going to trade DJ Moore for much of anything. So I just feel like I would want a little bit more.
Yeah,
maybe I don't trust Kansas City running backs. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's the risk here, right? Is like,
yeah,
you could either feel like really good that you kept DJ Moore, or you could like really like be crying that you kept DJ Moore.
Yeah. All right, let's do speed round, lightning. Let's do some regular chats. Got some good questions here from people. We want to get to them, but we're still catching up on super chats. How about Chris Zovko, Michael Mayer, or George Kittle?
Yeah, I know Mayer's getting some steam because of last week, but yeah, I still got to go with Kittle this week.
I like Mayer. I talked about him, but I'm going Kittle because they get a pretty good matchup against the Vikings. You can't sit Kittle just yet. What about Sandy McMurray, Jalen Warren, or Kareem Hunt?
You do these lightning rounds, then you pick these.
I thought you would say no to Hunt like pretty quickly.
Well, it's not bad. I mean, these guys kind of feel very similar to me, honestly.
Like, I don't even like, in fantasy Jalen Warren that much, but to me, I would just go Jalen Warren because
fine, go Jalen. Go Jalen Warren because they're very close for me. They're actually very close for me. They feel like the same dude. Like the
All
same guy.
right. These are definitely not the same dude. Malcolm Moss wants to know Gabe Davis or Jonathan Taylor?
Man, I do like Gabe Davis this week, but I'm going with Jonathan Taylor. I think we see 60 plus percent snap, 60 plus percent share Jonathan Taylor this week. Yeah, give me JT.
Going JT. I like JT too. I actually think this is the week where he looks like JT. Then we got Benny Black, PPR, Ford or James Cook.
This is another close one. I'm not, man.
Do we think Latavius Murray is legitimately eating into Cook's touches on a regular basis, or was it just last week?
I think it could be like closer to a 50-50. I didn't really care about that. Like, James Cook is not a guy drafted to get 20 carries. Like, that's not like if you drafted James Cook, like, oh, he's gonna be like I was shocked he was a workhorse to start the season. That was like bonus. I was like, oh, James Cook's a workhorse. This is great. I drafted James Cook. I was so high on James Cook because what he can do in the passing game, specifically in an offense like Buffalo. The problem is he's not being used in the passing game lately. Like, that is dried up completely. It's just gone. Like, they're not even a target last week. Not even one target.
It makes no sense. It really
Right.
doesn't.
That's why this is close. If James Cook was getting 3 or 4 or 5 targets a game, I'd say James Cook easy. It's the Patriots. It's a great matchup. But he's just a guy who gets 14, 15 carries, and that's it. And that's not really enough for James Cook, especially for a guy who's not going to get the goal line work. So I think this is very close for me this week because James Cook does have a great matchup. But man, with the risk of him not catching passes, I think I'm going to go slight lean towards Jerome Ford, but very, very close here. Very close.
Yeah, I think I am going to lean forward because the matchup is pretty good. Sadly, Cook just kind of has a cap on his upside because he doesn't get used near the goal line. He doesn't catch passes. Like,
yeah, the pass catching, like the goal line thing, I expected. The pass catching thing, I'm like, what the heck?
who knows? All right, cap for life. Now, we did not address this. I saw this rumor. Did you hear this? Apparently,
Yeah.
there's still some noise about the Cowboys getting Derrick Henry. I don't know that this is happening. We would
Well,
probably
I do think. I mean, you never know with these things, but I could actually, in this case, see the Titans just saying, you know what?
just blow it up.
Yeah, let's blow. They need to blow it up. But even being like, we don't like, you know what? Let's just get Derrick Henry to a contender, even if we have to take like a 6th, 7th round pick, something terrible for him.
If that's all they're getting for Derrick Henry, then I mean, what's the point?
But I mean, look, are they going to get is somebody going to give him a 2nd, a 3rd for a 30-year-old running back? Not in
in
this
real life,
NFL.
yeah.
You
I
think
think
in this NFL where teams hate running backs, somebody's going to give a 2nd or a 3rd for
King
that's
Henry,
deep.
yes.
Wow. I mean, maybe. But anyways, I could see them wanting to like trading him to a contender. Just to give like say, hey, go try to win a Super Bowl with this team. We're blowing it up. So I could see this potentially happening, but I definitely have my doubts about a team giving up a 2nd or a 3rd for a 30-year-old running back, but we'll see.
Maybe a 3rd. I mean,
It's the NFL, man. The running backs mean nothing to them.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Chase Wellner. Need RB help? Any trade ideas? Got Tua, Monty Pierce, Fryermuth, Hill, Olave Ridley, Marquise Brown, Craig Reynolds, Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Osborne Downs, Target, B-Rob, maybe. Well, yeah, Monty's out. Pierce, well, he's on bye. Ooh, you definitely need help. Like everybody that you have is on bye.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need a running back. Yeah, I think like let's see, looking at your lineup here. But I mean, who can you really move? You obviously don't want to trade Hill for for anybody. Olave is an overpay. Ridley still feels like an overpay. I don't really want to trade Hollywood Brown right now. This is like the time to be going to get Hollywood Brown. I mean, maybe you could trade Monty to a team that like doesn't need running back help right away, and you can get a good running back that you can use right now. Like maybe you could trade Monty and get like a, I don't know. How do people feel about Swift and Monty? Are they similar?
Well, if Monty wasn't hurt, that's the problem. Is Monty not coming back for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
That kind of really handcuffs you. And I hate to say it, but this is a team where you really have no trade value on your bench, like at all.
Yeah.
These are a bunch of waiver
There
wire
you go.
guys. So I'm not sure what you could pull off. Just to be honest, I'm not sure what you could trade without sacrificing the strength of your team, which is your receivers. Maybe since Hollywood is on your bench, you can trade a Ridley and just start Hollywood, and maybe that gets you a decent RB2.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to, honestly, the way your team
Yeah.
is. You might have to.
That's the only thing. And then just hold on for Monty to come back. So for the next 2 weeks, not this week, you're just going to have to start Pierce. I mean, at least next week, you'll have Pierce. You'll have one of the Panthers running backs.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I can think of. Don't trade Hill, of course. Probably don't want to trade Olave. I would just trade Ridley, get an RB2 type, solid RB2 type. Alaska Moose Dog needs 3. Olave, Nakua, Flowers, Lockett, or Rashee Rice.
I'm going Olave, Nakua, and Lockett. Flowers, I mean, like Flowers is fine. I don't feel a big Flowers game this week. I do like Rice, but I mean, I'm not going to act like Rashee Rice is the same as Lockett. It's a good matchup against Arizona. So I'm going Olave, Nakua, and Lockett as my 3.
Yeah, down on Flowers this week. I like Rice, but I'm not putting him over these guys. So Olave, Nakua for sure, and then Lockett. So we are in lockstep. Okay, Carl. We know Carl. He's saying that Jaleel and Dameon Pierce just got dropped. Do I grab them? Who to drop between Reynolds, Wilson, Cooks, Judy, Jaden Reed, Kendrick Miller?
I mean, I really want to say pick up Dameon Pierce, but then I really want to say don't pick up Dameon Pierce.
But I think you can pick up Dameon Pierce over Kendrick Miller.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably pick up both these guys. Like you can drop Kendrick Miller and pick up Dameon Pierce. And I mean, look, I know Brandon Cooks had a touchdown, but it wasn't like he was. Pretty sure Michael Gallup was the number 2 receiver. He just didn't catch his passes. I would probably drop Brandon Cooks for Jaleel McLaughlin, personally.
Yeah, I would drop Craig Reynolds over for Jaleel McLaughlin because he's just as startable. But either way, I mean, none of these guys are must hold. The guy I'd be most interested in holding is Michael Wilson, but none of them are musts. Just try to trade Jerry Jeudy for something.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel Romero, if you can.
The problem is Steve Smith killed all his trade value.
Yes.
Because Steve Smith finally said what some of us have been saying for years, and nobody wanted to believe, and now people believe it because it was Steve Smith, which I get.
Yep. It's true, though. He speaks the truth. That's one thing for sure. 12-team PPR Superflex. Traded Puka, got Pacheco and $20 a fab.
Okay. I don't know if $20 a fab was enough.
No, again, some people are, I think, a little too high in Pacheco. I would rather have Puka, but okay. So we got Purdy, Jacobs, Pacheco, Adams, Cooper, Waller, Godwin, Addison, Shaheed, Myers, the Browns, and then something on bye, H-Chan on IR.
Yeah, I mean, look, I put Pacheco on the buy low video, but I'm pretty sure that, like, I would. In fact, I know I didn't say like trade Puka for Pacheco. Like I think Pacheco is a good buy low. I like the Chiefs' schedule going forward. I think he could be like an every week RB2, but yeah, Puka was. I would have definitely kept Puka here. I mean, yeah, I guess you needed Pacheco though, because I don't see any other running backs, just Jacobs and Pacheco. But I feel like you could have gotten them. Like you could have traded somebody like Godwin and maybe gotten Pacheco.
Right.
In fact, I
That's my
think that.
thing.
In fact, I think that might have been the trade I had on the video. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, I think it was. Actually, I think it was. That would
I
have
think it
been
was
better.
Godwin for Pacheco. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not against getting Pacheco. It's just not for Puka. I think it's too much.
yeah,
Just like the last one for Pacheco. It's like, okay, if you're giving up that, I think it's a little
yeah.
uneven, but whatever. I think it's fine. I mean, your team is fine when H comes back. You'll be good. Benny Black with another best three: DJ Moore, Addison, London, Rice. So I guess bench one is it DJ Moore?
Yeah. Oh man, it's actually
Yeah.
close for me between DJ Moore and Rice. I feel pretty good about London this week. I feel pretty good about Addison this week. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I might just roll the Rice this week. And look, if DJ Moore has a nice game, then okay, fine. Go back to playing him every week. But I don't think Rice will kill you. I'm gonna go Addison, London, or Rice.
Yeah. In this case, like not feeling a big London week, but I mean, am I feeling anything DJ Moore week? I think just bench the biggest risk here, which is more having a dud. Just start the other three. Let's see. We can get this quickly. BT is curious. Have we ever played real football? We're actually football players. No.
I actually never did. I played baseball and hockey growing up. Never. Always loved football. Always loved the game. Went to our high school games. I watched Barry Sanders was my favorite player growing up. I used to actually this will well that right there just aged me, of course. But this will also age me. When I grew up in Southern California. I say it like as if you all know that, but you probably don't. I grew up in Southern California, so we didn't back then. There was no red zone. There was no cable. It was like you got whatever was on local TV, and very rarely was the Lions, of course. But when it was, I would literally take VHS tapes and record them. And I'm pretty sure I still have a bunch of them at my mom's house, a bunch of recorded. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have his game where he went over 2,000 yards on VHS at my mom's house somewhere.
Nice. Yeah, and that's what's funny. I always had to ask because you're still there, right? Southern California,
Yes,
you live in Orange
okay.
County, but you're not a Rams fan. You're not a, anyways. Yeah, I never played real football. I played Little League baseball and realized I was not good at baseball. And then I played basketball all throughout high school. I was on the basketball team. I wasn't great or anything, but I played basketball all the time. But I've been playing fantasy football since I was 14 years old. If that counts for anything. Joe Castles is always in the house. How do you feel about Elijah Moore? Not good.
I mean, you can't feel great about Elijah Moore. Just can't. Especially if it's PJ Walker again. I mean,
Yeah. No. He really doesn't need to be rostered. I think we just can give
no.
up on Elijah Moore.
Yep.
Not happening. And then who's the top 2 RB stashes and top 2 wide receiver stashes?
Well, Joe, appreciate you. Appreciate always being on 100. But these are tough questions to answer because we don't know who's available. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say if Tyjae Spears is still on your waiver wire, he's a must add. I mean, we've been saying he's a must add for weeks, even before this Derrick Henry potential trade rumors started.
Yeah.
Now with the fact that maybe there's even a chance Derrick Henry gets traded, I mean, Tyjae Spears has to be on every roster on every league right now. So just, I mean, outside of maybe like, of course, 18 leagues or something like that. I don't know. He's the obvious name to me.
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends who's available. Talk about a stash. Well, I'll just say,
Right.
always mention guys on the early waiver wire was beat the breakout kind of video. 2 weeks ago, I talked about Zach Evans, like not knowing that the both two running backs for the Rams would get hurt, but I mentioned him because there's always the what if. Well, what if has happened? So just I would say watch for those guys. I can't remember offhand who I talked about last week, so we're moving on to next week, but Yeah, stashes. It's got to be somebody with an opportunity.
Look,
So
if you want to go deep, I like Devin Singletary.
he was coming on, right, last week?
Yeah, he outrushed Damian Pierce by almost 20 yards. He actually looked good when he had the ball. They saw that right before the bye. I'm not saying when they come out of the bye, it's Singletary's backfield, but I mean, he's pretty much free in like every league right now because he's on bye. Like no one's even, thinking about him. So
There you go. That's true. All right, what about Benny Black again with Fields out? Would you stream Dobbs, Baker, Ritter, Bagent, or Minshew? Choices are not too tasty. Okay. So this week, Dobbs is still the starter.
yes, still a starter this
Bagent
week.
almost surely the starter. Minshew, I think honestly, I might have last on this list.
Yeah, no way am I playing Minshew against the Browns. Um,
I think it's either Baker or Ritter.
in the same matchup, I think I would go Baker. He's at
Yeah.
home. I'll go
Yeah, I
Baker.
agree.
I'll go Baker.
I go Baker. Yep. And if CMC plays, would you still take chances on playing
No,
Mason or no? Or no,
no
not
way.
Mason. If CMC plays, you just go Ahmed, I guess.
Oh man, Ahmed. I guess at least he's the number 2 there. I guess Ahmed. But yeah, I mean, how much Mason are we going to see if CMC plays? Very little. You're really just hoping he like scores somehow.
Yeah. Rome 710. Carr or Russ?
I'm definitely going Carr here. Not liking Russ this week. I'll go Carr. He should have a nice game against the Jags. He should.
Carr was my quarterback streamer of choice this week. Again, depends who else is out there. If Russ is out there, he's still my choice.
No.
And then we got Bobby Brook from England. Welcome back. All right, 14 team. Would you trade Pickens for T-Law? Still got Jordan Love because he's a Packers fan. Yeah.
No. And look, Jordan Love has a great matchup this week. You can feel good about him this week. Yeah, and T-Law hasn't been great. It's not like T-Law has been fantastic. I would just roll with Jordan Love. And we don't even know if T-Law is playing yet this week. He was listed as questionable.
That too. This maybe not the time to be trading for T-Law. So, I don't think you need to do this. I think long term, I would prefer T-Law over Love, but for this week, right now, no. And then Keith Tapp, Puka, Cooper, Deontay, or Watson.
You only flex one of these guys?
I guess so. He already has Cup. Trying to trade Puka, well, that's fine. Just don't sell low on him. But who do you go here? Like all
I
of
probably
these guys.
I probably do go Puka. I have Puka higher than out of all these guys. He's still getting a decent target share. And look, they may not even try to run the ball this week. So, and it's the Steelers. I go Puka. I go Puka still. And yeah, I'm okay starting Puka and Cup.
So tough because I like Cooper and I like Watson a lot. I'm tempted to put Watson in. I know Puka's going to have a higher floor. I think Watson might have a higher ceiling. Should probably go Puka, though. I do like Puka. I like both of them. I don't know. I guess go Puka. And then Bitman. Howdy. Trying to get some play here. Pressured because of Bry's injuries. Yep. Needs a wide receiver in the flex. Got Curtis Samuel, Hunt, Osborne, Reynolds, and Downs. So a receiver and a flex.
I actually like Curtis Samuel again at wide receiver. I like this matchup for him. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel at wide receiver. Flex gets tough.
Yeah, not the best. For me, Curtis Samuel's the easy one. I'm not playing Hunt. I'm sorry. I
might
can't.
just go Josh Reynolds. He's still
he's
still involved. He can catch a touchdown. I might just go Josh Reynolds at flex.
I'm going to I'm going to say no to Downs because the matchup is just terrible. It's either Osborne or Reynolds. I guess Reynolds. There you go, Reynolds. And a tight end, you got Michael Mayer or Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith has had a series of really good games.
What do you start?
Yeah, well, but do I start Michael Mayer? Like, are we gonna chase? I mean, look, it's Brian Hoyer. If it's Brian Hoyer again, maybe he'll target Michael Mayer. It is a good matchup
Well,
for Michael Mayer this week.
it's the Bears. What? I keep saying that like it's like a JV team or something. It's the Bears. But
But I will
Mayer is
say
not.
one thing. I will say one thing about the Bears, and I
Okay.
saw this late last week. They got like 3 of their defensive backs back last week.
Yeah, those
And
guys
look,
that were hurt.
I'm not gonna say that that's why the Vikings passing attack was so bad. Obviously, they didn't have Justin Jefferson, but they held their own against the Vikings. That secondary is healthy again, but still, I might just gamble on Mayer.
Oh, the thing I'll say about Mayer is it wasn't just this one kind of out of nowhere game. He started to come on, like he had done nothing the first 4 games, and then all of a sudden he got a couple of targets, a couple of catches, and then the spike happened. So it's been 2 weeks now where he's climbing. I'll go Mayer. I think I like Mayer, and it's a good matchup. So yeah. What about A Strick is back? All right. So remember from way back, it is Garrett Wilson. See, so he has Cup and Devontae. He was offered Evans, Garrett Wilson, and Downs for Puka and MT. He was thinking could package Wilson and Downs later. So get the 3 and then flip the 2.
I mean, yeah, it's not a bad strategy if you think you can do it. It definitely makes it closer for me. I might do it if it's Garrett Wilson. Because I do feel like Garrett Wilson's at least play. Like MT is just like, what are you gonna get?
Yeah, he's
So
whatever.
I don't know, but I still feel like Puka is significantly the best player in this trade, and I never like really giving up the best player. So I don't know. Actually, I might just keep Puka just because I still think Puka is going to be good. So I'm going to keep Puka.
I mean, if you can guarantee me you can trade Wilson and Downs and get really good running back,
Right.
sure. But you're taking that risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you think you can pull it off, sure. If not, it's just a little risky. I don't hate it. Steven saying we missed a super chat from very early. We'll go look for it. Okay, so while I do that, who to drop, Wandale or Warren? Who to drop?
I think it's going to come down to your team. Like neither of these guys are guys I feel like I have to hold. So if you're light on running back, I guess hold Warren. If you're light on wide receiver, hold Wandale. That's what I would say.
I mean, yeah, I would probably drop Warren, but doesn't matter. Either way, it's not a big deal. You can calm drop either one of these guys.
Yes.
All
Here
right,
was
I don't know. I guess
Ollie.
we missed this from Ali. Apologies. Did not mean to do that. Rasheed Rice or Hardman? Well, we kind of talked about Hardman.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice by a lot. Like Rasheed Rice should not really be on waivers outside of like really shallow leagues. So Rasheed Rice by a lot.
Yeah, Rice should not be on waivers, and Hardman should not be on rosters. Like,
Right.
it's not. He shouldn't be on the Chiefs roster, but he is. But it doesn't matter. Thoughts on Rashad White?
Like
Underachieving.
he's like if you're in a pinch and you need him, he'll get you some points. But that's about the best we can feel about Rashad White right now.
Yeah, can't feel too great.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get caught up with the super chat. So if you did drop one anytime in the last 30 minutes or so, probably haven't skipped it. We're just catching up, but this is a good time for me to remind anyone who just joined because been on for a little while. No, not everybody was on at the beginning. We're still partnered with Underdog. And so if you haven't tried it, this is the perfect time. And I'm saying that because it's true. The 100% deposit match you get from using our promo code, which is Endgame, it has been extended from $100 to $500. That's right. So if you sign up just for putting money into your account, every dollar you put in up to 500, you're going to get an extra dollar added in there. So double your money just for signing up. And new users get the Derek Carr Pick'em special. Just needs a yard on Thursday night. Take the higher, and you basically get a free square. You can add it with any other pick and triple your money, or you can go all the way up to 5 picks. And if you hit them all, then congratulations, you just won 20 times whatever you picked on it. You can also do the Marquise Brown in a separate one. You don't combine these, but make another pick 'em, and trust me, take the Marquise Brown higher or lower. It actually doesn't even matter which one you pick or if you hit it, because that automatically enters you the 100K Sundays. Because once again, they're giving away $100,000. This time, 1,000 different winners will get $100 just for the chance. Taking that pick gives you a chance. That's all you have to do is just use that pick. So all of that is in effect. Again, if you haven't tried Underdog, it is, I can legitimately say this because I'm pretty sure it is the fastest growing gaming platform in fantasy. They're all over the place now. Got big commercials on primetime television, billboards, everywhere. Underdog is it. So check it out if you haven't already. And we're going to check out Denver Weedman.
What's up, Denver?
Is that your legal name? Half PPR got offered James Cook and Puka for Pollard. You
got Bijan and Pierce at running back. Evans, Addison. Yeah, I think you kind of do.
I think it's okay.
I don't really want to be rolling out. Like, I like Devonta Smith, but I don't want Devonta Smith to be my wide receiver 1. Although, is Puka really?
I know we can't call him a number 1 receiver anymore, but he's a really solid 2.
Yeah. I think it's a very fair offer for Pollard.
Yeah. It's another tough one. It comes down to, you think Pollard is going to be an RB1 rest of the season? At this point, you pretty confident he's still top 10?
Oh, I feel like he should be top 10. I don't know if he's going to be top 5.
But what if they trade for Derrick Henry tomorrow?
Well, then he's toast. Although maybe that'll be good for him. Go back into that role where he doesn't have to take those tough between the tackle carries anymore, like we saw last year. I probably do this. I probably do it because I like James Cook more than Pierce. And then Puka helps your wide receiver room. I probably do it. I think it's fair. I think it helps your team. I do it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think it's fine to do because, again, if Justin Jefferson hopefully comes back when he's eligible, then Addison is a guy you may not want to start every week. He's not going to be a number 2 type. So I think it's fine to do this. Michael Cazares. What's up, Michael? Drop Fields to pick up Kyler? Is it too soon?
Yeah, I think it's too soon to drop Fields. We don't know yet. I think it's too soon to drop Fields.
Yeah. Trade White for Brown. Which Brown?
Yeah.
This can't be Rachaad White for AJ Brown. That's not possible. It's not possible.
I will say if it's Rachaad White for Hollywood Brown, I'll still take Hollywood Brown over Rachaad White.
Yeah. If it's Hollywood, which would make sense, I would do that.
Yeah.
Benny Black is back. Full PPR, Musgrave or Mayer?
I'm going Musgrave this week. It's the Broncos. He had what? 5? Didn't he have like 5 catches before the bye? Had like 5 catches before the bye, something like that. It's the Broncos. I'm going Musgrave personally.
Yeah, I think I'll go Musgrave just because it's the Broncos. I think right now I'm liking Mayer rest of the season a little better, but also you have to consider the Raiders do have a backup quarterback, so I'll go Musgrave this week. Trust Loke. Would you trade Jacobs and CD for Etienne and Puka?
Man, these trades. Uh
Hmm.
This
It's pretty even.
this is so close.
I,
I think
I
I'm
mean,
gonna hold
look,
Jacobs and CD.
I think I would rather have the CD side.
Yeah. I feel better about CD long term than Puka, even though I still do like Puka. And I know Etienne's been great, but man, it almost has to happen for Jacobs. I mean, the usage Jacobs getting is unreal. Like unreal. I think I'm holding Jacobs and CD, but man, this is close. This is close.
Yeah, if you would be giving up those two, I'd rather have CD. And then Collins or DJ Moore. I'm assuming you're talking trade because you can't start Nico this week.
This last week it would have been like, no, just do not trade DJ Moore for Nico Collins. Now it's like, well, maybe.
Now I think I would. I think I would rather have Nico.
I'm getting I mean, look, I still think Nico will be good, but I'm getting a little nervous about Nico. We've seen Dalton Schultz get more involved.
Yeah.
Tank Dell should be back. Noah Brown now healthy. But there's significant worry for DJ Moore rest of the season. So this is so close now. Yeah, Nico might be safer. Just go with Nico, I guess.
I'm fine taking on Nico. All right, Royland wants to know between Jaleel or Craig Reynolds. I was all excited for Craig Reynolds at first. I was like, oh, he's going to be a guy you want to start. Now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I just go with Jaleel McLaughlin.
I mean, why? Because he didn't practice today because he was a DNP?
Well, he didn't practice. Okay, fine. It's just one game. But also Gibbs is back. And then I'm thinking like, I mean, what's his upside here? It's not like he's in a smash spot either. So I think he's, if you have to, sure. But I think McLaughlin's fine.
This is. I mean, look, I don't dislike McLaughlin this week, but I mean, he's still very, very, very risky. And I'm not expecting like Jahmyr Gibbs come in and have a big role. I don't know. I think if Reynolds plays, I'm still going Reynolds.
It's close either way, right? It's close.
Yeah.
And then asking, does he grab Mayer for Ferguson? Ferguson's on bye. Is he just a streamer? Is he a guy worth stashing, in other words?
No. He's a streamer. Streamer in good matchups. That's it.
James Robinson did sign, but no.
Nah, James Robinson. I mean, yeah. No. He's right there with Julio for me, not even thinking about him.
I put him a step below Julio even. Beast.
You might be right.
Barkley and A. Brown for Bijan and Keenan.
I think you have to do that. This one I think you have to do. I mean, look, for as good as A.J. Brown has been, Keenan Allen's been even better. And Keenan Allen, his target competition is Josh Palmer and a rookie who may not ever do anything all year. A.J. Brown still does have Devonta Smith. Like, Devonta Smith is going to have some big games here. And when he does, A.J. Brown's not going to have the big games he's been having. Keenan Allen is the guy every single week. Like, there's nobody else to throw to. There's nobody else here. And I'd still take Bijan over Barkley. So I think you're winning both sides here. I'm taking Bijan and Keenan Allen's side.
Yeah, I think it's fine to do. I do think I prefer still Bijan over Barkley. So, man, as hard as it would be to give up, assuming this is A.J. Brown, of course. Yeah, I think it's fine to do this. Wheezin' Ed. Welcome, Ed. PPR league, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, no flex. Jacobs, JT, Eckler, and Achan on IR. Olave, Cooper, DJ Moore. Benching Moore. And of course, Achan. Should I trade 2 to upgrade? Because he's got Jacobs, JT, and Eckler. I mean, flexing one of those guys.
Yeah, but look, I mean, again, if you could trade one, I wouldn't trade 2 of them, but if you could trade one of them and get like a true number 1 wide receiver, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
But
if you're going to trade 2 players, one of them would have to be DJ Moore.
yeah,
But then if you're going to DJ Moore and any of those running backs, I mean, you would have to get like Jamar Chase type, which you're not going to get Jamar Chase. But you know what I mean?
yeah,
It would
you're
have
not
to
gonna
be
get Jamar
really, really
Chase.
good. Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to get like an AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Amon Ra,
Hey,
players like that, right?
Devontae
It has to
Adams
be
right
that
now is practically worthless. People are giving him away. So maybe just go for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, but again, I'm going to say what I always say. Like, look, Achan's on IR right now. What happens if Jacobs gets hurt this week? Or, now you're down to 2 running backs. Now, how good are you feeling about your running back room? And if you trade one of them away and one of them gets hurt, now you're down to 1 running back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So if you're gonna do this, you better get an absolute stud wide receiver back.
Yeah.
Don't go out and trade for like I don't know.
KJ
One
Osborne.
of those like wide receiver 2 types.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. If you're giving up one of these top high end RB1s, you need to get a high end wide receiver one.
Yeah, exactly.
Ahmad is back. 2, 2, and 1. Got AJ Brown, Christian Watson, Jacobs, Cook, Ridley, JT, Lockett, Hollywood, Pittman, and Zach Evans.
All right. Well, at wide receiver, you're going AJ Brown and Watson.
Yes, definitely.
A running back, I'm going Jacobs and JT.
Yep. And then who to flex? Probably
I think I got to flex Lockett.
Lockett. Yeah, can't feel good about Pittman.
On a big Ridley game. Of course, it'll probably be some game where he goes for 102 touchdowns or something. Who knows? But I'm not feeling a big Ridley game against Marshawn Lattimore. Lockett in a great spot. So I'm going to go AJ Brown, Watson, Jacobs, JT, Lockett in my flex.
I completely agree. And then Jay traded Thielen for Olave before week 6. You like that?
I think long term you'll like this. Yes. I think long term you will like this. Yes.
I know it's hard to imagine Thielen not as the number 3 receiver in all of fantasy, but yeah, I think you made a smart move. You won't regret this. Don't think so. Vic TX361 was offered CMC and Waddle for Saquon and Pollard.
Was offered CMC and Waddle. Oh, you have to take this.
That's what I'm thinking.
If you're getting CMC and Waddle, I mean, yeah, you have to. Again, CMC, one of those guys before the injury was looking like the answer to the test would be like, did you have CMC or not? And Waddle, more than good enough at wide receiver. Yeah, and your number 1 wide receiver is Higgins, I guess, and you got Hopkins, Palmer, and Judy. Ugh. Godwin, yeah, you have to take this. This is a great deal for you. Great deal for you. Yeah,
I'm taking this deal because I'm getting CMC, but then it even does help your roster more because Waddle improves your wide receiver core. So yeah, if you're getting CMC and Waddle, definitely take this. And then Juice 420, 14 team. He's 6-0. Very nice. Stafford, CMC, Pacheco, Diggs, Waddle, Mayer, Addison. Got Mondre, T-Law, Dell, Charbonnet, Mason, Wilson, and probably Javonte Williams. Dobbs is on waivers. Drop somebody to get Dobbs.
I think you can drop Dell to get Dobbs, especially in a 14-teamer. You can drop Tank Dell to get Dobbs.
Yeah.
Pacheco. Are we helping him with the lineup here? Diggs, Waddle.
I don't see really what you could do to the lineup.
No.
Yeah, you want to start Pacheco against the Chargers.
Yeah,
No, I
you
think
want
the
to start
lineup's fine.
Pacheco. Although I do kind of like Ramondre this week, but I don't think I trust him over Pacheco.
Right. So there you go. I think you're fine. Your lineup's fine. Well, rise above anything. What is that? Kyler Murray, worth a stash.
If you have an IR spot and you just have an open IR spot and there's nothing there, like you don't have anybody put in there, and you're rolling out, terrible QBs every week, yeah, then he's worth a stash. But he's not a guy. I feel like if you already have a good QB, you don't need to stash Kyler Murray.
Right. I'm not rushing out to stash him, especially if you're set at quarterback. There's really no need. And then Bear Camp is back. Welcome back. Half PPR. Would you flex Saints, Chiefs,
Or Trevor
whichever?
Lawrence. I'm gonna go the QB over the defense every time.
Is that a thing? You can flex a defense?
I guess it's like super duper flex. You can put a defense in the flex, but look, I mean, unless your league, maybe your league has some crazy defense scoring where like, the number 10 defense scores 30 points. I used to play fantasy football with a guy in his home league. The defenses would score like 35, 40 points. Like not even the good ones would score like 35 points. It was like, what is this? It's crazy. So if you're in some league like that where defenses score crazy points, okay, put one of the defenses in. But outside of that, I'm going Trevor Lawrence.
If this is the question, I'm going Trevor Lawrence, I guess. Between the Saints and the Chiefs defense, I mean, I don't even like either of those defenses this week, anyways. Who would you like most in DFS, Seattle or Vegas?
Well, this is interesting because you have to think about also, well, you got to think about cost. And then you got to think about also like which defenses are most people going to be on. I
A
feel
lot
like
of
most
people are
people
going
are
to be
going
on
to be on the
Vegas.
Raiders just because of the matchup.
Right.
But I'm
Yeah.
guessing, I haven't looked, but I'm guessing they're cheaper. But maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. No, not this week because of the matchup. But yeah, everyone's going to be on the Raiders. So if you're in a tournament, you go Seahawks.
Yeah.
If it's a 50-50 or just a small league, a cash game or something, you can go Seattle. You can go Vegas. Pick one: Elijah Mitchell, Zach Evans, or Madison.
Well, I can't pick these guys up over Madison. I'm not that high on Madison, but he's a clear lead back in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We don't know what Mitchell's going to be. We don't know what Evans is going to be. It's got to be Madison.
For now, I'll still go Madison. Yeah, I mean, maybe you take a shot on Evans if you're desperate, but at least you know Madison will give you something.
Right.
MC, Kirk, Amari, JT at the flex.
Yeah, like all these guys this week.
Yeah. I mean, I like JT to possibly have a breakout game. I don't call it a breakout JT, but his best game so far. But if it's PPR, I think I'm still going to go with one of those receivers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Amari Cooper if it's PPR. I like him either way with Deshaun or with PJ Walker. I'm gonna go Amari Cooper in PPR. If it's standard scoring, I'll go JT. I'll probably go JT then.
Right. I would agree with that. And then pick up Murray if you got Goff or Dak. Or
Nah, not if you have those guys, you don't need to pick up Murray.
No, I don't think so. Mark G, would you accept Pollard and Ayuk for Cup and Pacheco? He has Pollard and Ayuk.
Yes, give me Cup. Give me Cup.
Yes.
Give
If you're
me
getting
the
Cup, the
top.
answer is yes.
Yeah, the top. I mean, like if you were ranking just non-quarterbacks rest of the season, assuming CMC was healthy, of course, it's like CMC, Tyreek Hill, and Cooper Kupp in some order, right? Those three guys.
Cup, I mean, Look, preseason, and you talked a little bit about this before with Tyreek Hill. I mean, you guys know if you were watching us or you did the mock drafts with us or you just watched us consistently, especially toward the later part, the draft season, you were going Tyreek Hill number 3. Only Jefferson and Chase.
Yeah.
And a lot of people weren't, but you consistently had Hill and Cup. That was your 3 and 4.
Yep.
Right now, we're taking Justin Jefferson out because he's not playing. It's Hill, Cup, and Chase. Like, that's it. Those are the top 3.
But I mean, if we're just talking like overall, I mean, if CMC was healthy, he's got to be in there too, right?
Yeah.
I think I would have Chase right now at tier, like right below those guys, because we've seen too much inconsistency. So I think it would be like CMC in some order. I'm not saying this is the order, but in some order, CMC, Tyreek Hill, and Cooper Kupp. Like if we were drafting right now for the rest of the season, I feel like those would be the top 3 guys in some order. Yep. You could argue the order. Oops, sorry about that. You could argue the order, but it would be those 3 guys, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, take Kupp, and look, he's gonna have CMC and Kupp. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
AB has Michael Wilson and Sky Moore on waivers. There's a reason for that. Should I grab one for depth, drop Mims, QJ, or JMO?
Yeah, I mean you can drop Quentin Johnston pretty easily, and I'd probably prefer Michael Wilson, especially now with Kyler coming back. Yep. Give me Michael Wilson.
Definitely picking up Wilson, dropping QJ. I think it's fair to say we're kind of done with Sky Moore.
Yep, not gonna happen.
All right, the next, actually, let's do Trone. He's a member. I haven't got to him yet. Picked up Zach Evans and received a trade offer for him.
Yes, I would take either of these. I would take either of these guys for
Lockett
either of these
or
guys for Zach Evans. Yes, either of these guys. I probably prefer Lockett, but either of these guys.
So this is what I would say. Look, I mean, I don't know who you have that you needed Zach Evans. Maybe you had Kyron Williams, or if you didn't, this is why you try to get these high end waiver wire pickups, even if you don't need the player, because then you have another asset on your team. People will trade for them. What if they have one good game? That's all you need. You have trade value. So, yeah. All right. Yes, do that. Hockey PC 825. Hollywood or stack Lockett with Geno?
I'm going to say Lockett, but not because you have the stack, just because I like Lockett better this week. I'm not feeling a big Hollywood week this week. I don't like his matchup this week. Joshua Dobbs is looking like Joshua Dobbs again, so I'm going to go Lockett.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lockett too. Sebastian Ponce, trade Brees and Mostert for Bijan and CeeDee.
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, there's definitely a path for Brees now. He's getting the volume, he's getting the work. But I mean, are we sure Brees is going to be better than Bijan rest of the season? No. And look, Mostert. Yeah, this is a great time to trade Mostert away, get a wide receiver like CeeDee. So yeah, give me Bijan and CeeDee.
I'm doing this no matter what, but especially he already has Eckler and Etienne. And you're adding a receiver like CeeDee, you're upgrading your team. This is a big win for you.
Yeah.
Yes. And George with another one. Should I trade away DJ Moore for JSN? That's not.
Nah, this is too much. This is too panicky. Too panicky. Hold DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's selling way low. Trade away Pierce for Moss.
I'm not doing that either. I really think like we're going to see a lot of JT this week, and then Zach Moss is not going to have much value anymore. At least Pierce still is probably the guy. So I'm gonna keep Pierce.
He's at least a guy.
Yes.
The Gaming Wolf. Hello, Matt Stafford or Jordan Love?
Man, I do like Love this week against the Broncos, but I think I still got to go Stafford. It's a good matchup for Stafford. I mean,
I like Stafford this week.
Yeah.
Love is just a little riskier. Stafford, is going to go for a good amount of yardage, nothing else. All right, let's go to the next super chat is Ferris Jobber. Would you do Addison and JT for Adams and Achane?
I'll say if Man. I assume if you're going to do this, you're fine not having Achan for at least the next few weeks or more, however long he's out for. Because
Right.
Adams is certainly a big upgrade over Addison. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see JT get back to like being JT here this year. Like he's gonna be like in every week, no doubt, must start running back. So if you're okay, if you're like, hey, I can wait 3 to 4 weeks potentially for Achan, then I do this because I think you're getting enough of an upgrade at wide receiver. But if you're desperate, if you need to win right now, like if you're like 2-4, and in 3 weeks you might not even be able to, it might be too late when Achan comes back, then I would just hold Addison and JT. But I think in a vacuum, I want the Adams Achan side.
Yeah. Again, assuming you don't need JT, you're not that bad off if you're offering this. I'm assuming that's not the case, not only because you're offering this, but also like, you didn't have JT for the first 4 weeks already, and then you couldn't really start him that next week. So, yeah, I would take the Adams Achan side. Then we have Vaibhav Shah. Pick 3, DJ Moore, Addison, London, Flowers, and Rice. This sounds very similar to one we had earlier, but I know it wasn't the
Yeah,
same.
I think the only difference is there's Flowers in here. Flowers wasn't in before. Here I might go London Flowers. Can I go Rice over Addison? That's where it gets close for me.
Yeah, these guys are all, like sometimes we have those questions with a lot of times with these same guys. We're like, oh, I kind of like both of them. It's like Zay Flowers, Nico Collins, whatever. This week we have these guys, and most of them I'm like, I don't really like them this week. I know I'm not feeling a big Flowers game. London, not as big. Addison's like, it's the Niners. Rashee Rice might be the guy I kind of feel most comfortable with, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Rice certainly has a matchup. The worry is like he doesn't necessarily have the volume.
Right.
Right. He might only get like 3 or 4 catches. He doesn't play like a ton of snaps. That's the thing with Rice.
Yeah, but he gets the Chargers. That's a good spot.
No, he's got the matchup for sure. For sure. But Flowers still clearly the number one. London the number one. I'm not really feeling a big Addison game. I might go Flowers, London, and Rice.
There it is. I'm going to go London, Rice, and Flowers. Clutchbox. Would you trade CMC, James Cook, and Ridley for Bijan, Eckler? Just Bijan and Eckler.
I mean, there's not many times where I would trade CMC, but man, getting Bijan and Eckler.
Yeah.
I think you have to do this. I think you have to take Bijan and Eckler. Like James Cook, yeah, whatever. He'll be fine, I guess. Ridley, who knows what we're getting from Ridley at this point. Like you're getting Bijan and Eckler. Yeah, I think I got to take the Bijan and Eckler side.
I mean, if you're doing this, if CMC and James Cook are your current 1 and 2 running backs, then you're going from that to Bijan Eckler. Yeah. I think you have to do it. I think so. Okay. Eckler shouldn't be too far off of CMC rest of the season. Bijan might not be too far off of those guys. So I think it's fine. AJ is 5-1. Needs a running back and a flex. Lamar, Bijan, got Sun God, Ayuk, Andrews. Flex is K9. Bench, Ridley, DJ, Nico, and Wilson. Thoughts?
I mean, I see how you're
one running back.
I see how you're 5-1. I mean, you're stacked. I'm leaving it how you have it. Kenneth Walker in a great spot this week. I'm definitely flexing him over these wide receivers. So,
yeah, I mean, Nico's on bye. DJ, you don't want to start. Ridley, I'll go. Yeah,
I'm going Walker.
You got it good. I seem to see a lot more of those. Maybe not a lot. Maybe just not used to seeing any of them. But we see some one running back leagues. Are you a fan of
I like
one
it.
running back
I think
format?
we should do a one running back in game league next year.
Why not? Save some headaches, right?
Exactly.
Jordan Dumas, Howell or Watson, assuming Watson actually plays. You got a lot of quarterbacks here.
I do like Watson this week if he actually plays. It's a good matchup for him, but it's not sounding good for Watson now. So you're probably gonna have to just roll with Howell.
Yeah, I would say right now, just put Howell in your lineup, and then if Watson plays and you feel comfortable with him, he feels comfortable enough to actually play, then you can pivot to Watson. And then we got Amy. Look back, Amy. Super chat, more injuries. Yeah, injuries happen. Okay, so let me see. I think she had put a regular chat earlier. Let me see if I can find it. So, okay,
I was
actually, hold
gonna
on. We'll
say
get
you're
back to you.
asking a lot if you want me to remember your roster from yesterday.
No, she did. She did put it. Vic. Okay, well, we did answer yours. You might have missed it. Okay, rewind. It's time to rewind here. See, Amy. Okay, here's her roster: Collins, Monty, Kyron, Thielen, Pickens, Downs, Rashawn, Barkley, Gibbs, Palmer, Laporta, London. Needs two, and a flex.
Wide receiver, I'm going. Oh man, I it looks like you have to go Pickens and Palmer. I mean, your only other choice is Downs, and I'm not playing Downs. All right, so Pickens and Palmer at wide receiver. At running back, Barkley, and it looks like you're gonna have to go Gibbs because Rashawn might not even play. So it looks like you're going Barkley and Gibbs.
And London has to be the flex.
Yeah, London's got to be the flex. Yeah.
All right, and then did have another comment. Just when I rewound. Okay, hold on. I rewound too far because now I went back to Vic's. So let's get back to Amy's. All right, so now she's asking, would you grab two of these guys? She got one spot open, and or she could drop somebody. So there's the usual suspects.
I'm grabbing Rashee Rice for sure.
Curtis said Deontay Johnson's out there.
Oh man, yeah, you got to grab Deontay Johnson.
But are we dropping? Okay, so she says you got one spot open. Would you drop any of those guys? I think you can drop. I can drop Downs if it's getting me Deontay Johnson, and I fill the empty spot with Rashee Rice.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm dropping Downs and getting Rashee Rice and Deontay Johnson.
All right, there you go. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say the one nice thing about having a lot of injuries and buys is it makes your decisions easier. Like, well, I have to start these two guys because the only two are actually playing this weekend. All right, Vic, and let's get back to yours real quick. Was offered CMC and Waddle for Saquon and Pollard. We said yes, take the CMC side.
Yeah, definitely take the CMC side. That's huge for you. Take it. Take it.
And then at the end, and maybe we missed this also, Jacobs or Saquon rest of the season? Who do you like?
It's very close. Maybe slightly Saquon, but it's very close. Very close.
Yeah, kind of the same. I don't think there's a big difference. I would prefer Saquon, but close. Tingley, 3-3, 10-team PPR got offered Diggs for Etienne and Devontae Smith. Too much?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like it's too much. I'm looking at the rest of his team: Kamara, Pacheco, Achane, Puka, Flowers. I mean, you kind of need both wide receiver and running back, to be honest. But at least you will have Achane coming back at some point.
Yeah, I think it. I don't think this team should be trading away Etienne.
Yeah, I'm keeping Etienne and Smith.
And we don't want to just give away Devontae Smith, for nothing, like as a throw in. So no, I wouldn't do this either. Let's see. Joker. Still happy after pulling off that trade. Rice or Ridley?
Yeah, this is too deep for me. I'm still going Ridley over Rice.
Well, I know Rice is tempting, but I agree. I don't think I can bench Ridley for him. So go Ridley. What's up, Brian? Howell or Stafford?
I'm going Stafford. I like Stafford this week. I'm going Stafford.
Yeah, I'm going Stafford. I know Howell's tempting against the Giants, but you don't really know where you're getting with Howell on a weekly basis. He's been putting up points, but you got to also remember there's a couple of games where they needed to throw the ball a lot. I don't know they're going to need to throw the ball that much against the Giants, So I'm going Stafford. Better matchup. Rahul Ramesh got Watson and Devontae for Addison. Really? You got both
Nice.
those guys just for Addison?
Wow. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Makes you wonder. Humberto Juarez. I don't remember seeing a super chat from you. All right. We'll go back and look for it. Sorry if we did miss it. Evan Esterkamp got offered Devontae Adams and Ayuk for Pacheco and Pickens.
You got to take Adams and Ayuk here. Have to. Unless Pacheco is like your best running back. Like if giving away Pacheco means now you're rolling out like, Jaleel McLaughlin and Jalen Warren as your running backs or something. Assuming that's not the case, you got to take the Adams and Ayuk side. Got to.
Again, this feels very lopsided to me. Adams and Ayuk. I don't know. I mean, what Pacheco didn't even have a monster game against Denver, and that was against Denver. So it's like, why is everyone trading for Pacheco now? I mean, I get it. Buy low, sure, buy low. You're offering Devontae Adams. That's not a buy low. That's an overpay. So this is, I don't know. This feels really weird to me. Like I don't understand what's going on. But Humberto's okay. So sorry if we did miss this. Barely squeaked by with 1 point. Very nice. We'll need a QB this week. Oh man, I don't even want to answer this question.
It's got to be Hoyer. It's got to be Hoyer. Daniel Jones might not even play, and even if he does, how good are you going to feel about Daniel Jones? Mac Jones, no thanks. At least Hoyer can sling it a little. I guess Hoyer.
It's Hoyer. Sorry, cannot be Daniel Jones. All right, Joseph, what's going on? Trade Flowers for JT.
If you're getting JT, big yes here.
Right. If you're getting JT, do it. All right. And then we got Vinny is in the house. Half point. We got a 16 teamer. Gino or Ritter?
Gino. I mean, look, it's one thing to put in the parentheses, Gino makes me nervous, but how Ritter doesn't make you nervous?
Yeah, exactly.
Give me Gino. It's a great matchup at home against the Cardinals. I'm going Gino for sure here.
Definitely Gino. Like, I know he threw some interceptions, took a lot of sacks. I mean, the offensive line looked bad last week, which is weird because they just got their starters back. They should have been better. It wasn't his best game, but he's got a good matchup this week. He did still put up yardage. I think you're fine with Gino in the 16 teamer. Fine. Yeah. And then at the flex, Komet, you can't flex Komet. McLaughlin or Berrios?
Berrios. No, not Berrios. McLaughlin. Can't feel good about Komet. Yeah. And Berrios. I don't even think Berrios is the number 3 anymore. Hasn't somebody else leapfrogged him for the number 3 now?
I mean, Chase Claypool is not there yet, but once he gets unleashed in this offense.
I mean, but there's not even a number 3 in this offense. It's
No, exactly. There isn't a number 3 in this offense. They don't need a number 3 because they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
I'll gamble on McLaughlin here.
Definitely McLaughlin and definitely Gino. Jacob Hollingsworth got offered JJ and Higgins for Achan and Nico.
I mean, you got to take JJ and Higgins.
You got it.
I mean, JJ and HM both on IR for the same amount of time. Like maybe JJ's out a couple more weeks than HM, but and then you're getting Higgins over Nico. Yeah, you got to take JJ and Higgins side.
Yeah, I'm not sure the thought process behind the person who's offering you this. I don't know, but take the JJ Higgins side for sure. Easy money. Trade D Hop, Ridley, and White for HN and Smith. I like
I'd
this
probably
deal.
do this. Like D Hop, what are we getting from D Hop? White, what are we getting from him? Okay, Ridley, sure, but I don't think Ridley's going to be better than Smith. And obviously, I assume you're fine just stashing HN. So yeah, give me the HN and Smith side.
I like this because you're buying low on Smith. You're stashing HN. You're really not giving up a lot. The only guy here you really would want to start is Ridley. And is Ridley better than Smith? No. I mean, they're both big ceilings, but inconsistent this year. I like this deal actually a lot. So, assuming you're getting the HN Smith side, of course. And then back to Amy Shoes to clarify, because picking up Deontay Johnson and Curtis Samuel, would you start those guys over like what we talked about, like London?
I don't think so. I like the wide receivers you had.
All right. I think so too. Yeah. I'm not starting Deontay this week if I really don't have to. Gino Petruzzi. Hey guys, have horrible luck with tight end all year. All right. Are you sticking with Pitts rest of the season, or you like one of those other guys?
Nah, sticking with Pitts. I mean, you talk about having terrible luck. I mean, think about everybody who streamed Logan Thomas last week or Jake Ferguson last week. They had no luck. They had terrible luck. So you might as well just stick with Pitts.
Go with Pitts. And then for flex, torn between Ridley, Flowers, JT, B-Rob.
I'm going JT here. I just don't feel a big Ridley game this week. I'm not feeling. Same with Flowers. I think they'll be okay. I also really kind of like Brian Robinson too, but I think I'm going to go JT.
Yeah, it should have been a big Ridley week last week, and it really wasn't. Don't feel it this week. Not a good matchup. Flowers going against the Lions. That's tough. He's more of a floor play. I like JT. I'll go JT too. This one, interesting, but not really interesting. Round Betty. Kareem Hunt or Craig Reynolds?
I'm going Craig Reynolds if he plays. I think he'll be the goal line guy. He'll get the early down run. I'm going Reynolds if he plays.
Yeah, I'll go Reynolds because I still don't want to start Kareem Hunt frenzy. Jordan Love or Jared Goff?
Oh, this one's close. This is close this week. I mean, look, I know Road Goff was pretty good last week, but do we really banking on Road Goff again against the Ravens?
He's got a floor. I mean, he's been solid. The question comes down to what do we expect from Jordan Love after the bye, after that huge flop. It's Denver, so you can't feel too bad about him.
I know that. Well, that's the thing. It's Denver.
Yeah.
I think if it's me, I'm going Love, but I totally get it if you want to play Goff. These guys are. This is another very close one for me.
I would say this: if Aaron Jones does play, I feel good enough that I want to play Jordan Love because I do think that makes a difference and helps the offense. And Jones gets a lot of action as a receiver. I think that helps Jordan Love. So that's what I would do. And then Zach Evans or Javonte Williams.
Wow. I mean, it is a good matchup for Javonte, and I do have worries for Zach Evans. But I might still go Evans. I mean, what's the upside with Javonte? I might just go Evans.
There's none. There really isn't. There's no upside with Javonte. I mean, I would say this, monitor reports or whatever from Sean McVay. If you kind of get an indication that he says something about committee or like, oh, all these guys will play or something like, oh, okay, fine. Like, no, back off of Zach Evans. But if he's like, well, we'll see what he can do. Okay, just roll him out there and see what he can do. Call me Mr. Clutch. Thoughts on Jamison Williams?
I mean, I think what you saw last week is what we're going to get. You're going to get the occasional big play that makes everybody think like, oh, put him in your lineup. And then you'll have games where he does like complete nothing, just nothing. He still only ran 9 routes last week. 9. That's a single-digit number. Like it's hard to produce when you're only running that many routes. I'm sure he'll start running more and more, but I mean, look, by the time he runs enough routes, the fantasy season might be over. So I don't know. I'm not super excited for Jameson Williams this year.
I have never been super excited about Jameson. I'm not this week or any other time. I think what we said is a fair comp. He's kind of like a Rashid Shaheed. Basically same guy, but I think I'd rather have Shaheed. So
yeah, Shaheed runs way more routes right now.
yeah, I mean he's good. Christian Gonzalez is 1-5. All right, so apparently he's got both the injured studs. Wants to know what we can get for JJ or Achan. Also has guys like Jacobs, Mixon, Chuba, and Evans. Ayuk, Ridley Pickens, Samuel, Dell, Downs, and Fields. This is starting to make sense. You got some players who have been hurt and underachieved.
Yeah, you got to move these guys right now. You can't wait 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and potentially be 1-8, and then it's too late. It's too late. So you definitely have to trade these guys. I mean, you need wide receiver help really badly. Like, at least you have Jacob, so at least you have an RB1. You don't have a wide receiver one. And look, I like Ayuk and I like Ridley, but they're not like wide receiver ones. If you could trade JJ, I mean, obviously you don't want to get CD because he's on bye. You need to win this week. But if you can trade JJ and get like an AJ Brown, a Keenan Allen, somebody like that. Or even package them if you want to package them. I mean, I would probably make 2 separate trades, but I would try to get, maybe even trade but I would be definitely trying to get like a top 10 wide receiver back for sure. And again, you need guys playing this week. You're 1-5. So, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, guys like that. Like I need players like that if I'm going to make this deal. And then maybe with one of the other guys you can get, maybe you can get like I mean, man, is anybody trading you? Running back's tougher. I mean, maybe you could get like a Saquon for Achan right now.
maybe. I think the best buy low right now is Pollard because people look at his rushing numbers and be like, oh, he did nothing. And then, oh, they're on buy. So I think you can get Pollard pretty cheap.
But the problem is you need to win this week, and Pollard's
But he
not
needs
going
to
to
win
help
this
you win.
week. Yeah, that doesn't help
That's
this week.
the problem. I mean, maybe even like a Kenneth Walker and Etienne. Like you can't be super picky. You know what I mean? You're 1-5, and if you go to 1-6, you can't be like super picky here. Like, don't trade Achan for nothing. But I mean, like if I could get Kenneth Walker and then or Etienne and still get like a decent wide receiver 3 type for Achan, I would do it. And then try to get like a top, like I said, one of those wide receivers for JJ or vice versa. Either way.
Yeah, and even if you have to settle, it might be a guy like Swift who isn't quite, Barkley level, but Swift I think might be easier to get because again, people don't think he had a good game last week because rushing wise he didn't, but fantasy wise he did. So that might be your other
Swift.
move. Yeah, you've got to get it. You've got to trade at least one of these guys, if not both.
Right.
And I don't mind trading both because again, at this point, you need guys that'll help you, and you don't know for sure that JJ is coming back in 4 weeks. You don't know there's not a setback. Don't take the risk. You can't afford it. So yeah, try to trade them both, but don't be super picky, but also don't don't just look for anything. So
yeah.
All right, Sebastian Arias, trade T. Higgins and Zach Evans for Drake London. Yeah, I'd rather have T. Higgins.
Yeah, no, give me the T. I'd rather have T. Higgins over London, and yeah, give me the T. Higgins side. You got Aaron Jones and Swift, so as long as Aaron Jones plays this week, you should be fine.
All right, then we got Vic with another Jacobs or Pollard rest of the season.
I think I got to go Jacobs right now. He's getting a little bit better usage than Pollard. They're both pretty close. I think at the moment I got to give Jacobs a slight edge, but they're pretty close. They're pretty close.
Yeah, I think you at this point have to give the edge to Jacobs, but not a huge advantage.
Right.
And then Ollie Spirit, thank you. Got the super sticker in effect. Drafted Hurts, Allen, and Fields. But why? CMC was my first pick, and I'm a QB the next 3 rounds. I really hope it's a 2 QB league.
I mean, if it's a 2 QB league and you got Hurts, Allen, and Fields in the next 3 rounds, I really doubt it's a 2 QB league. Like, I really think he drafted CMC and then 3 quarterbacks in a 1 QB league.
All right. Oh. Okay, so I trade Allen and Mostert.
I mean, you pretty much have to. You have to. Like, what are you doing with Josh Allen? I mean, I'd prefer Etienne over Mostert rest of the season. You're getting a good tight end. I'm sure you need that. And, you got Elijah Mitchell on your bench. I think you have to make this trade. You have to.
If this is a super flex or 2 QB league, no, you have to keep these guys. If this is not a super, like you only start 1 quarterback, look, just I want to say this not disrespectfully, but there was really no reason to draft more than 1 quarterback. That was kind of wasted picks, to be honest. Like now you're trading for Etienne. Okay, that's good. You're making up for it, but you can't be doing that. So, yeah.
I mean, but it can't be super flex, right? Like there's like
no, because those guys wouldn't all be available, like you said.
Right. So
I just want to know, like,
assume.
why did you think, well, before I get a running back or a receiver, I want to get a backup quarterback and then another backup quarterback. That's the thing. Like, that doesn't make sense. So, yes, at least you're making this deal. You have to make this deal.
Yeah, you
Jay
have
Luke, wide receiver 2 in the flex. Cooper, Nakua, Pickens, KJ Osborne, Brian Robinson, Zach Moss, JT and Barkley, and then Cup. Okay, well, that's pretty good. So who's number 2 in the flex?
I'm going Cooper and Puka.
Yeah.
Cooper and Puka.
Pretty easily those first 2 guys.
Yes.
All right, so we actually almost caught up on our super chats. So we're going to circle back, get to some questions that we haven't answered, some of the regular chats from our members. If there's a question that we didn't get to yet, you can feel free to type it in there. So South Sea, got you. Don't worry. We got you. 10 team PPR, Fields, Stafford, Cup, Amon-Ra, Ridley, Puka Flowers, Pacheco, Madison, Pierce, White, Rashawn, Hawkinson. Trade ideas for a top running back. Yeah, because you don't have an RB1 here.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably package like Ridley and Madison.
Yeah.
Madison still has some value. I mean, look, you're not going to get like, Ridley and Madison probably isn't going to get you like one of the studs. But you could probably get Pollard for those guys. You might be able to get Barkley for those guys. You might be able to get a Swift for those guys.
I think this team actually has enough receiver depth that you should make a deal. Yeah. I mean, I would trade either Ridley or Puka. And then,
well, I mean, Puka. Well, I mean, I don't even know if Puka has more value right now because he just came off a bad game, and people are like, "Oh no," they're like, "Oh my gosh, Cooper Kupp is going to kill Puka."
Well, yeah, that's true. You probably could get more for Ridley. So in that case, I think Ridley is the guy to trade right now. Yeah, you package him with Madison, you should be able to get something decent. So there you go. I'm not.
Or even Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, well, that's true. People are going to be disappointed. Like, oh, Zach Moss is still there. So see what you can get. But yeah, Ridley, I think, is the guy to package. That's a good move. I don't mind trading Pacheco either if you have to. If you get a legit number 1 running back, yeah, like legit. Big Luscious had a question. Trade away Pollard and Addison for Bijan. and Sutton, but whatever.
And Sutton. Yeah, I'd probably do this. I'd probably do it.
Not because of the Derrick Henry thing, though.
No. No, not because of the Derrick Henry thing. Just because I think Bijan will be better than Pollard rest of the season. And look, I still think Addison will be good, but I said it before. The reason why I really liked Addison was because of Justin Jefferson.
Right.
Like, I liked Addison more when Justin Jefferson was there, and I think we saw that a bit last week, and we might continue to see that. But Justin Jefferson should come back. So, but I just think Bijan will be significantly better than Pollard. So, give me Bijan.
He will start, I think, scoring touchdowns at some point. Bijan is still going to be a stud. Yeah, I think you can do it. Look, Sutton is playable. He actually hasn't been bad. So
True.
Run CMC, aka Julio. What's up? 10-team league also. Hurts, K9 Stevenson, Hill, Puka, Andrews, Kirk. On the bench is Pollard, Gibbs, Addison, Lockett, and Achane. By Mageddon, yeah, or by Apocalypse sometimes is going to come. So defense and kicker. Oh man,
defense and kicker strategy. I mean, pick a kicker and don't think any more about it. Don't waste your finite energy you have on this earth stressing about kickers. Defense strategy, stream and hope for the best. Those are my strategies. Those are my defensive kicker strategies.
Kicker, pick a kicker on a good team that actually scores points, that is favored to win. Honestly, that's it. Defense, go for defense that's going against a bad offense. Cleveland is your number one by far this week. The Raiders are a good option. I think we said, who else is a good option? The Bucks aren't a bad option. So those are your options. When he's saying week 9 to 10, is that what he's thinking? I don't know if that's what he means, but we can't.
Yeah,
not
I haven't
looking
even
at
thought that far ahead yet.
No, it's a weekly game. You got a week by week, and look, your team right there, your players, you're solid. So don't worry too much about the distant future of 2 weeks from now. To me, it feels like a long time ago. Let's see what else we got here. Don't think we did this one. It's Sebastian again, but this looks like a different question. 2 flex. Rice, Evans, Downs, Curtis Samuel, or Reynolds. Not sure which Reynolds because Detroit has 2 Reynoldses.
Yeah, I'm not starting either of the Reynolds over these guys though, so it's okay. I'm going Rice and Curtis Samuel. These guys are all kind of in that same tier, right? Like risky potential flexes. I like Rice's upside this week. I like Curtis Samuel's matchup. I'm going Rice and Curtis Samuel.
I like Curtis Samuel this week. I think he's good. In fact, mentioned him as a pickup. Downs, not feeling him. Evans is like roll the dice because you really don't have anybody else at running back. At a flex, again, assuming this is at least half PPR, got to go Rice. Juice. Yeah, you did it right. Okay, Juice 420. Flex Addison, or he meant Dobbs. If you can get Dobbs. Would you go Dobbs over Addison?
I don't think so. I think I'm still going Addison. He's still the number one guy there. I know it's the Broncos, and you want to, you're like, oh, but remember Dobbs in that last game when Christian Watson was, fully integrated in the offense, really took a back seat. I think I'm still going Addison here.
I like Dobbs. I mean, I do like him this week, but Addison's still the number one guy there. I think he'll get enough targets. Dobbs is just riskier. I would go Addison too. And then Jaleel from MT. 12 team, 3-3, PPR, QB, Allen, Murray. By the way, getting this one because he says he's been here for the entire 2.5 hours. So
nice. Thank you.
Dedication. I appreciate that. All right. So moves to make, any holes, drops, adds. What do we think of this roster? Look, if that's Quentin Johnson, I'm not. What are we waiting for? Just drop him.
Yeah.
Don't need Musgrave if you have Engram. I think you can drop him too.
I mean, you're strong up top, right? Like Walker Jacobs, Tyreek T, Ingram, Josh Allen. You don't need Kyler Murray if you have Josh Allen. You can drop Kyler Murray if you have Josh Allen. But your depth worries me a little bit.
Oh,
what
my bad.
happened?
Misclick.
So yeah, drop Musgrave, drop Kyler, get some more depth, especially at running back. Get some more depth. I think your starting roster is great, but your bench seems little weak to me. So drop Musgrave, drop Kyler, improve the bench. That would be my advice.
Yeah. Don't need a backup quarterback if you have a stud. Ingram's not a stud, but again, you don't need to. Ingram, you should feel okay about every week. So shoot for some upside. Go for those high upside stashes. Got distracted because Sir Boomer is asking for another defense and kicker. All right. So he's basically throwing all these. Okay, look, you can't play the Eagles or the Dolphins against each other. We can rule those guys out. Giants, Commies, Bucks, Rams, Packers. Packers play Denver. What did we say earlier? You said Commanders, right? Because they play the Giants.
I like Commanders. Plus, aren't they at home? At home against the Giants. I always like defenses at home. I think they're at home.
No,
yeah,
actually,
they are on the road. They're on the road. I mean, Bucks are good too. Bucks are at home. They get Desmond Ridder and the Falcons.
Yeah, it's one of those two.
One of those two.
And then Moody, Carlson, Patterson, McLaughlin, Lutz. You want to take this one?
Okay, let me see if I can even name the teams these guys are on. Okay, I do know Moody is on the 49ers.
Yes.
I do now know that there are two Carlson brothers. One is on the Raiders, and I don't know who the other Carlson kicks for.
So now we don't know which one this is. I'm assuming it's Daniel Carlson, but we don't know.
I have no idea who Patterson is.
Patterson, Riley Patterson for the Lions, I think.
Lions, okay. McLaughlin, the only McLaughlin I know is Jaleel, the running back for the Broncos. I did not know there was a second McLaughlin.
Chase McLaughlin, I think he's the Colts kicker.
Colts. Is Lutz still on the Saints? Like, this guy's been around forever. I feel like Lutz has been in the league for like 20 years. Oh, he's not on the Saints anymore? Then I have no idea what team he's on.
Sean Payton brought him over to Denver.
Of course. Of course.
He's the best weapon they have, honestly.
Sad. I don't know. Moody. don't ask me.
I like Moody. Playing in a dome, going against the Vikings. All right. Moody and Commanders. There we go. That took way too long. Brian is back. Pittman, Thielen, or Jacoby rest of season? Are you going Thielen rest of season?
No, I'm not. Maybe I'll just be. Maybe he'll do this all season. We'll see.
But the thing is with Pittman now is we know it's going to be Minshew rest of season,
which might not be a bad thing for Pittman. Might not be a good thing.
Yeah, it's like it might. I mean, look. I mean, we know we don't have a running back. I mean, not running back, a quarterback who's going to run a lot, right? We don't have that. We have Minshew, who's just a passer. But it might be a lot of JT and Moss. That's my worry.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go Jacoby, Pittman, Thielen, and I'm sure. Yeah, that's how I'm going to rank them.
The disrespect continues. Putting Thielen dead last. Dead last. Man, the disrespect on this man's name. Well, I will say with Thielen, here's the worry. It's not that they trade for Jared Jeudy.
No.
Frank Reich has relieved himself of the play calling duties. And so now maybe we see them, open it up a little bit more. Now, even with that said, how much can they open it up? Like, what does that mean? We're going to just throw to Jonathan Mingo down the field? No. Bryce Young.
Well, I will say this.
A rookie.
It's funny you brought up the name Jonathan Mingo.
Uh-huh.
Because they are coming out of the bye.
The bump, maybe.
And well, not only that, let me look it up. I think he had like, if I remember right,
And actually, you know what, too? Not that it's going to happen. Like, who's clamoring to trade for Terrace Marshall? But Terrace Marshall supposedly rumored that they're shopping him.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really do anything. So I can't. Let me look it up on my phone. I think Mingo just played like the most amount of snaps he played all year going into the bye. Mingo.
Yeah, they're clearly going to shake some things up. I mean, a new
Yeah,
play caller.
he played
So maybe.
93% of the snaps, which wasn't the highest he's played, but um yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna be completely wrong on Thielen this year. Maybe he's gonna just be a league winner.
Well, look, I think I still have to keep Thielen at the top for now. Pittman is close. Pittman is close, and I'll put Jacoby third just for now. And then Robert missed it earlier, but asking about Gaskin. Rams signed him. Just a hard no to Gaskin.
Yeah, hard no to Gaskin right now. I mean, he's gonna need all the Rams running backs to disappear to where they have no other choice.
Right. And then thoughts on Slayton. I did mention Slayton again early, way early, because somebody's asking about Wan'Dale Robinson. And just mention real quick that the Giants, now that we're seeing some separation from these receivers, Paris Campbell is not a factor. I mean, not that he ever was a factor, but Paris Campbell is not on the field anymore. He's just not in the rotation. Isaiah Hodgins barely getting on the field. It's basically Slayton is the one. Wandale now all of a sudden is the main slot guy and like the number 2 target, and then Jalen Hyatt's the once in a while chuck it deep guy. So I think Slayton is more interesting. And against Washington, I actually think he's not a bad streamer. In fact, I am streaming him in one league, which is why I'm saying this, because I want him to go off. So I think that's fine. Look, the chalk waiver wire pickups, a lot of times they crash and burn. So Gaskin, no.
Yeah.
He ain't it. That's all I can say there. Let's see. Yes. Agree. You can always, Sir Boomer, you can always rage drop your guys if they're not performing. No issue with that. And then Ranjit Mataru, welcome. George Pickens or Jerome Ford in a full PPR league. Who are you flexing?
Ooh. Ford is probably the safe guy if you're like, I just want some points this week. But I think I'm going Pickens. I don't love the matchup this week for Pickens, and I do worry about Deontay being back, and now Pickens goes back to just running like go routes. But I mean, what is Ford's upside really this week? I'll go Pickens. I'll gamble on Pickens.
Yeah. I think I'm going for the upside still with Pickens. You know what he can do any given play. I like Ford. I don't mind Ford, but full PPR, I'm still going to lean to the receiver with the big upside. Joker reminding us that last time we thought the Commanders looked like a good defensive streamer, they got blown out by the Bears. Do you feel like I don't?
This is
I
true.
mean, they had Justin Fields and DJ Moore. The Giants have maybe Daniel Jones and Darius Slayton. I don't see it. I mean, they have Saquon Barkley, but still. Yeah, I'm not too worried. Like, if you're worried, I guess you can go Bucks. See, he already had it. That's exactly, so this is the confirmation bias you needed. And then Jeff Wilson on waivers. I'm not running out to grab Jeff Wilson, especially with those other options. I would rather have Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel for sure.
Yeah, and then you look at it like even if he's active this week, which I think he will be, I mean, they're going to ease him in. He hasn't played a snap in how many months? They're not just going to throw him out there and give him, half the carries or anything. So,
No, don't worry about it. I've been on you. We'll come back. Okay. Sorry if we missed you. We'll go back and look for it. And then Elmer Sanchez super chat. Don't see the question attached, so we'll go back and look. Elmer, if you did already put your question, I'll try to find it. If you didn't, then we'll wait for you to put it right now. So while we go back and find those, let's answer Alan Wendling because he's in Brazil. Would you start Curtis Samuel, Michael Wilson, or Josh Reynolds over DJ Moore?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't like DJ Moore. I do like Curtis Samuel, but I mean, it's not like Curtis Samuel doesn't come without risk. I'll just go with DJ Moore in this case and hope he gets peppered with targets.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Curtis Samuel's going to go off or anything, but he's been pretty consistent. He's been a solid flex type player for the most part. And he's got a pretty good matchup. I think I might not risk getting 0 from DJ Moore. Not that he'll get 0, but I think I'm just going to go with Curtis Samuel. Abamanya, here it is. Sorry for making you wait. Full PPR 10 team. We need 2 receivers and the flex. Rashee Rice, London, Palmer, Addison, Zach Evans, or Mason.
For the 2 wide receivers, I'm going London and Addison. And for flex, I think I'll go Rice for flex here. I'm going to go London, Addison, Rice.
I like Rice. I'm going Rice as one of the receivers. I don't like London as much this week for sure, but I still think London is one of the plays. Yeah, I think I'll go London over Palmer. And then the flex. Yeah, I just go with the receiver too. I guess Addison. Rice, London, Addison. Pitts or Goddard? That's a little tougher.
I think I'm going Goddard. Still not all the way. I'm more in on Pitts, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm all the way in on Pitts quite yet. So I'll go Goddard.
Yeah, I mean, it's against the Dolphins. They're going to have to get guys involved. If Devontae Smith is questionable heading into this game, right now he's got a hamstring injury, we might see more Goddard out of necessity. Falcons just not a great matchup this week, so I'm going to go Goddard too. Here's Elmer's. 12-man league, full PPR, lost Kyron and Monty, so starting Zach Evans and Murray and Michael Thomas. Ouch. Should I trade Kyron, Monty, or Pollard?
Yes. Yes.
Which one? Or all of them?
Probably. I mean, I would trade either of them for Pollard, to be honest. Either one, whatever it took. You can't roll Zach Evans on Latavius Murray for the next potentially 2 to 3 weeks. That is not going to get it done. Yeah. I know you don't get Pollard this week, but at least you'll get him next week. I would trade either one for Pollard.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine and doable. I mean, maybe Zach Evans goes off or maybe he doesn't. But did you die? You're going to have to pick a Panthers running back here. You're like Miles Sanders or Chuba Hubbard.
For rest of the season, I guess Chuba. I don't know. Chuba was already kind of like semi the lead back, although I do wonder how much of that was health of Miles Sanders. But he's also looked kind of better. So I guess if I had to pick one of these, I'd go with Chuba.
I don't know if there's a right answer here. I'll say I'm not like completely in on Chuba Hubbard because he's been there. Like, this isn't some rookie. He's been there a couple of years. He's still the backup. They signed Miles Sanders. I still think Sanders is the lead guy. So the question is only if Sanders is healthy, right? If Sanders comes back and he's fine, I think I'm going Sanders. And then Ranjit with another Jerome Ford or James Cook this week.
I think I got to go Ford. I know James Cook is in a good matchup, but man, Latavius Murray eating into his touches, not catching passes. That's the frustrating thing here. Ford catches passes. Looked pretty good last week against the 49ers. Gets a better matchup this week against the Colts. I'm going to go Ford.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ford. He's got apparently more pass catching and touchdown upside than James Cook, which is annoying. But yeah, with the matchup against the Colts, not afraid of Ford. I'm gonna go for it. I'm not afraid of Kareem Hunt either. If you didn't know. And then the Terminator is back, as he does. Is Aaron Jones a must start, assuming he plays?
Yes. Against the Broncos, yes. If he plays, he's pretty much a must start. Although
This week, he's definitely a must start.
yeah, I do like Brian Robinson a lot this week too, though.
Yeah, he's saying Jones as a flex because he's got those as his two running backs.
Yeah,
So
over Zach Moss for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Must start over Zach Moss.
Yeah, definitely over Zach Moss. I think we kind of answered this earlier in a way with a trade question. It was like a 2 for 3, but Miles T wants to know, would you like Evans or Puka the rest of the season?
I still got to go Puka. He still was involved last week. I think he'll still be involved. It's pretty much the nice thing about the Rams is they're really only throwing to Cup and Puka. No one else really gets targets here, so I still like Puka. I think he'll be better.
Yeah, I'm going Puka too. And like I said, I think this is a big week for Puka. So if you got Puka, this is a good time to hold on and see if he goes off, or at least has a good game. You know, don't trade him because you're panicking about him. Wrong time. All right, let's do a couple more. We're getting close to the 3-hour mark. So if you got any more questions you absolutely want to get answered, we will be back tomorrow for a shorter one before the game to make sure we get to as many questions as possible, help you all out. People who weren't able to come tonight. But anything else for today? Let's have it. Let's go to Isaac Marr. At the flex, Craig Reynolds, Reed, or Tutu, or would you pick up Slayton?
Do I want to go Reed against the Broncos, or do I want to gamble on Slayton against Commanders? I might just gamble on Slayton.
I am gambling on Slayton in one league. I'm trying to think. I check, but it would take me a while because I have like 15 teams. There's a couple of leagues where I have Jaden Reed. I actually have Jaden Reed in several leagues. I might even be putting Slayton instead of Jaden Reed. But yeah, I'm gonna go Slayton. Yeah, I mean, look, that's the way it is. 6 teams on bye, injuries. It's just the way it is. AGZ, is it crazy to play Taysom Hill at the tight end if your other option is Cole Kmet? It's not crazy. Actually, didn't Taysom Hill have like his career best in receiving last week?
No, it was carries. It was like rushing.
Carries.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, what? Or was it receiving? Yeah, it was receiving. Yeah, it was receiving. He was like the number 2 receiver behind Chris Olave, wasn't he?
I don't know why.
Yeah, I guess just go Taysom Hill.
Kmet. I mean, we're worried about DJ Moore. Kmet's floor is 0.
Yeah, his floor is legit 0. Yes.
Too Rich and Bree TV. Interesting. All right, Saquon and something for Jacobs and Lamar.
I mean, if it's a small piece, sure. Like if you need Lamar, I don't think there's a huge difference between Saquon and Jacobs long rest of the season. If you're giving up a small piece, like somebody in your bench that you're never going to start and you're getting Lamar, yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I would do that. Royer, Gramajo, D-Hop for Gibbs.
You know what? Just give me Gibbs. I just have no expectations for D-Hop. And especially now, like Ryan Tannehill with the ankle, and now they're talking about they might trade Ryan Tannehill because just blow it up. Are we looking at Malik Willis? Are we looking at Will Levis or however you pronounce his last name? Yeah, just give me Gibbs. Just give me Gibbs.
Yeah. What are you doing with D-Hop? I wonder if they trade D-Hop. I mean, I don't know who's trading for D-Hop because nobody wanted to sign D-Hop except for the Titans.
That's the thing. Like, look, I don't know what offers D-Hop got or anything. And look, maybe D-Hop only cares about like money and just playing football, and that's totally fine. But do you think D-Hop right now regrets like not just taking like a terrible offer from the Chiefs or something? Like if the Chiefs offered him like the minimum because that's all they could afford, do you think D-Hop regrets it, or do you think he's like, whatever, I got paid, I don't care?
I don't even know. I don't even know what he would do. I mean, what does he want? Does he want to? Well, now I like my contract, or okay, I want to win a championship.
Well, he hasn't complained yet. I haven't heard him complain yet about like the quarterback play. So maybe he just is like, hey, I got paid, I don't care.
What if Will Levis is him?
I mean, hey, stranger things have happened.
Haven't considered that possibility, but I would take
Stranger
it.
things have happened.
All right, let's see. Brian wants to know if Fields is droppable if you have Geno and Kyler.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Biggity Brown, Tutu, Dotson, Fryermuth, or Slayton. Yes, it is that kind of week. Just go Slayton again.
Just go with Slayton. I mean, Dodson, my goodness. Just go with Slayton. Go with
Slayton and hope for the best. Yeah, why not? And then, all right, only because you seem slightly desperate. My 40 cal. Taylor Harris takes Stevenson. Trying to figure out what that means. Jonathan Taylor, and Harris.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what this means.
I mean, yeah, let's see if you can rephrase that so we get it. I mean, if you're talking about trading Taylor to get Stevenson, no. Alan, we did answer this. Curtis Samuel over DJ Moore, I would. But you said no, you go DJ Moore?
Yeah, that's too much for me. I like Curtis Samuel this week, but man. I mean, look, he could outscore him, but I just don't think it's going to be like a big Curtis Samuel week. So I'll just go with DJ Moore.
There you go. Oh, okay. 40 cal, put your question up again because you wanted it, but I don't know. I had to go back. Last couple of questions here. Taryn Rich, also desperate, got offered Devontae for my Waddle, Madison, and Godwin. Is that too much? Yeah, I think it is.
That's too much. I don't think there's like a huge gap between Devontae and Waddle.
Right.
And look, Madison is still a solid RB2 when you need him, and Godwin has been solid. Yeah, that's too much. That's too much.
Nancy Hernandez, down to Osborne, and Deontay needs 2.
Well, look, Deontay is the one I'm going to feel the best about if he plays. Obviously, if Deontay doesn't play, then you know which 2 you're taking. I'm going to go Deontay and Osborne. I just can't get behind Downs with Minshew against the Browns. Deontay and Osborne.
Deontay and Osborne for me too. And then Jason, would you trade Puka for Hall?
If you need running back help, I think so. I mean, look, I'm not buying too much into Hall's big fantasy game last week because he got literally like the garbagiest of garbagey touchdowns because it literally took a horrible Jalen Hurts interception that got returned to like the 7-yard line, and then the Eagles literally let him walk into the end zone so they could get the ball back. But his usage is there. The usage is absolutely there for Breece Hall. It's just going to come down to, is he healthy enough, and can this offense and this offensive line support him? But the usage is definitely there. So if you need running back, I think it's fair. I'll take Hall if you need running back.
Right. I'm not trading Puka just because I have Cobb, and I'm not trading Puka because I'm worried about him. I'm trading Puka for Hall if I need Hall as my running back too and need upside, and I'm good at receiver. So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's the way I look at it. So we end with Brian, our guy. This is an endgame league. Sent Pittman for Jacoby and Evans. Well, how does that help you at running back?
Yeah, I don't get this. You're desperate for a running back, so you offered Pittman for Jacoby. I mean, look, if you get Jacoby and Evans for Pittman, that's a huge win. I don't think it's going to happen in an endgame league, although you never know. But I don't know how this helps you at running back.
Right. I mean, it's still good. It's still good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is it for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. We'll be back. Thursday night football is going to be on, so we'll carry you up until the game. Check us out. We'll be on about 2 hours beforehand. Help you with trade questions, waiver wire, whatever it is. we're here for you. So in the meanwhile, good luck if waivers are still running in your league. Hopefully you get some players you need. And then don't forget to check out the videos still coming out tomorrow where you have all the start sits are out. Hopefully you've seen those. But then also we got booms coming and then something new for you on Friday, maybe Friday, Saturday, one of those days, whenever it comes out. All right, guys, we will see you next time. Oh, Zach Evans. It wasn't Mike Evans. Zach Evans. That's who it was.
Oh.
Forgot that he exists now.
So
Jacoby
Pittman
and Zach Evans.
I mean, I would probably prefer Mike Evans over Pittman now with Minshew. You get Zach Evans, like, it's probably a win for the Evans side.
At least you have a running back.
Exactly.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.